Hey guys. Hey, good to see you. Hey. Oh, wow. Wow. Good to see everyone in the chat. Um, and I apologize for my appearance. I'm just exhausted tonight. Just too much going on. But good to see everyone in here. Hey, we have a special night this evening. A great guest coming on. And but first, let's go through the announcements, etc., and news and the announcements and everything else going on. Let's see. Goodness, I really should. I used to write all this down, and I stopped doing it. Okay, news is, next week. The show next week will be open mic. We'll do the Q&A again. I try to do that once a month where whoever wants to, if you have a question, just put it in the chat and I'll answer as best as I can. And there's other people, some great people in the chat also who help to answer questions. And hey, we don't know everything. We're all learning. We're all exploring, and just a lot of this is theory and hypothesis, and we gather as much. Hey, Pyro, good to see you. Dwarf, great to see you. Gary, the Daddy 1945, welcome. But again, that'll be next week. It'll all be Q&A, whatever question you have. Thank you, Leonard. Thank you. But for this evening, if you have any questions for our guest or for myself, please put them in all capitals. That way I'll be able to notice them easier. And I'll be able to pop them up on the screen for our guest to be able to answer them. And also next week, I just may hold something. Welcome, Bobby. I just may hold another thank you to our members. Thank you, Gary. Yes, slap that heart to the right hand side. It does. It helps the algorithm. And please hit that thumbs up. That helps very, very much. But yeah, we'll do another member thank you raffle. I don't know. It may just be on the group itself. Yeah, I think I'll do a raffle, an actual raffle on the group itself. Now, what I've got is I have some Bigfoot PJs, a Bigfoot top and bottom. It's all Bigfoot themed, and we'll raffle that off along with, hey, there's my book. And I'll throw that into the package also. And also, everyone, if you're interested in purchasing my book, it's $20. That includes shipping. And you can just send me a message. Send me a message on Messenger. my emails are just so doggone complicated. I really have to, yeah, dwarf. Let me pop that up. Bigfoot pajama jam party, yes. But yeah, we'll throw all kinds of stuff into that little package. I have all kinds of things here because I go to, at least last year, I went to, I would set up at all kinds of conferences and festivals. So I've got all kinds of stuff here, all kinds of big and little things. And I'll just make a nice big prize package and make it worth your while, because in the meantime, you are supporting our research. And yes, we do. We get out there and we research. As you know, I was in Alabama, a week and a half ago, and fantastic area. And yes, we had activity. In fact, I talked about that last week on last week's show. Amazing. Just, I tell you, because it was, in my opinion, because I didn't see one, two other people saw this particular Bigfoot. They said it was a juvenile. And I've had experience with juveniles before, and they're so, you just have to shake your head at them. I mean, really, they're just like all kids, all teenagers. They do goofy stuff. And some of it sometimes is they don't quite realize what they're doing and how much they're scared. Well, no, that's their purpose. They want to scare us because they think it's funny, to hear the funny humans scream and cry and run. That's funny to them. But yeah, whenever I was in Alabama, there were a couple possible sightings, some vocals, whistles, and then our last morning, one went running right down through the middle of the camp. About 6:30 a.m., I heard it. I heard the whistles of a couple different ones behind my tent, in the woods back there. And I saw a figure going past my tent. I could see the shadow of it, the shape of it. Yeah, you always have activity in Alabama. I know. It was amazing. I was expecting more vocals. That was disappointing, but that's okay. That's okay. I'm going to go down again, and I do want to thank Kumbo and his wife, Sandy, everyone, Pat and Joe, everyone who helped out, everyone. Pat Rance, who else was there? So many people. Just a fantastic weekend, long weekend, and just amazing. Absolutely amazing. But okay, let me see. Oh, prayer requests. Very, very important. Now, I have a long list here that I go through, every day. I go through this list every single day. But there is one name. Oh, you're going back in 3 weeks. Scary. Oh, God bless you. That's great. But again, on the prayer list, there is one name that is going up to the top of the list because his health has really degraded so much. He's in the hospital, and that's Fred Saluga. Now, Fred Saluga, he is with the West Virginia Center of Unexplained Events, West Virginia MUFON, Pennsylvania MUFON. Very good friend of ours. Very, very good. I've counted him as as a mentor, as a good friend. You know, whenever I first discovered that there was an internet presence of other people who have experienced Bigfoot, you know, I discovered Fred Saluga and Brian Seach also of the Center of Unexplained Events. But Fred Saluga, please keep him in your prayers. He is in the hospital in Pittsburgh. He was in the VA hospital, but transferred over to one of the other hospitals in Pittsburgh. I know which one he's in. I'm not going to give that information out. I retired from the medical field, and that mindset of holding medical information private it's inset. It's in me, and I'm not going to give it up, anything out. And I, you know, whenever witnesses talk to me also about their Bigfoot experience, I hold that private also. You know, unless they give me permission to give out certain information, and I will never give out the exact location. That will never happen. I will give out like a county, maybe a township if it's a large township, but that's about it. But again, guys, please pray for Fred Saluga. His health is going down, and so tell you what, I'm just going to let everyone put out good thoughts. Right now, I'm going to play a little video to help put you in the mindset, and so on. So I do appreciate it, guys. So hold on. Where is it? There we go. All right. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a soul like me. I once was lost, and now am found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right. Let me get our guest on stage. Welcome, Paul.
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes. Very
Okay.
good.
Good to know.
Yeah, good to
Okay.
see you.
I always get mixed up which direction I need to go. Get in the camera.
There
It's
you
the
go.
opposite.
I know it's always the opposite.
Yeah.
So, guys, this is Paul Frazier from the Western Ohio Bigfoot Research, and it's a group on Facebook. Now, is it also? Do you have a research team also that's part of your organization?
It's just me and Wally, my dog.
Oh, okay. There you go. That's your team.
Yeah.
I know it's me and
I
Sinead.
mean, I'd like to have somebody to go out with, but it's just me.
I know it's hard. It's hard to find someone, especially nearby in your vicinity.
Yeah.
All right. So, Paul, tell you what, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got into this and all
Okay.
kinds of fun stuff that you've been into.
Well, I'm sure you probably heard this from a lot of people, but it was Patterson Gimlin film. I mean, that's pretty much what did it. I was 4 years old when it came out in October of 1967. I was four, and I've told some people this, and it's probably hard for a lot of people to believe, but and you may have experienced it. I don't know, but I remember as a kid, like I said, I was four, and I don't know if this was like right after or a year later or sometime in that vicinity. We went to the theater to see like a Disney movie, I think it was, and they played the Patterson Gimlin film before the movie.
Hmm.
It, it
Yep.
was a it was a big deal back then. I mean, it was on the news, and I can't remember if they actually said Bigfoot. They may have just said this new creature's been discovered. It was all over the news, and they kept showing the film, and I just was fascinated by it just as a kid.
Hmm.
And of course, I thought, like a lot of people, that it was somewhere up in the Pacific Northwest, and maybe there's more than one, but we know there's one anyway. And I didn't realize it was a female at that time, and I think if I remember right, it seems like they were calling it like uh, a Yeti, like our version of a Yeti. Like they thought it was related to the abominable snowman, but here it was in the U.S. If I remember right, it was something like that when they first were talking about it. But so I always had that fascination from a kid seeing that video, and I read some books about it, and I think one of the best ones I read was Legend Meets Science, just because
Yeah.
it gives you so many good uh, things to counter people that laugh about it, make a joke out of it. I
Hmm.
mean, like they'll say, "Well, I was a hunter and I've been in the woods all my life, and I never seen one." Well, how many people have seen a wolverine? We know they're real, but
That's
they're
right.
very rare to see one. And so he gives a lot of good examples in that book that I like to be able to use. I took a lot of ridicule over the years. I was in construction, and right before I retired, I remember I was reading Legend Meets Science again because it's been a while since I read it. So I'm sitting there on my lunch break reading it, and then next thing I know, they put a little flyer up about Bigfoot or something right above where I sat, and then they're leaving Jack Link's jerky, which I didn't mind. I like beef jerky, so but they just kept making fun of me and making jokes, and
Yeah.
I just said, well, if you knew more about it, maybe you'd have a little different thought about it. But I said, if you read as many uh, witness stories that I have read and just looked into it, you'd probably think a little differently about it. I said, how can people from all over the country be describing the same thing? People that don't know each other, and yet what they said they saw is identical to somebody in Oregon, somebody in Kansas, somebody in Florida. They're all describing the same thing. So I know I don't need to tell you that. Preach it to the choir, as they say, but it's just how people can laugh about it, and the news. It seems like it's always got to be a punchline to them whenever they tell a news story about it. They laugh about it at the end, and it's just gets kind of aggravating sometimes. But
It is what it is, and it's to be expected. But
well,
all you have to do is try to water off a duck's back and
yeah,
educate. you know, Try to
well,
educate them, and that's about it.
I really didn't kind of get into. It was kind of I retired in 2019, and it wasn't till 2022 when I really first started making it a hobby or whatever that I really started doing a lot of investigating. And I wish I would have sooner because before I retired, this was like 2016, I think, somewhere in there. I was working at a nuclear power plant up by Cleveland.
Hmm.
And at this plant, my job, I was an insulator, and I was one of the few guys on the job that knew how to sew, how to use a sewing machine.
Oh.
And we were making these removable pads because whenever they do a shutdown outage at a nuclear plant, they always they use all these acronyms like the military. They have what they call FAC points, FAC, which is flow accelerated corrosion. And so all of your 90s on a pipe where it turns, or your T's, anything like that where the water might change direction,
Mhm.
they will want to X-ray those areas to see how thick the pipe is, to see how much wear it's getting. So every time they do an outage, we always have insulation on the pipe, and they'd always have us remove it, and then we'd have to re-insulate it. Well, then they started wanting these removable, just made it easier for everybody and cheaper because then we can just pop those right back on. So anyway, we're in this big triple wide trailer. Down on one end is a little office, and that's where I'm at with my sewing machine. And there's a guy on the other end sewing also. And in the middle is this big table. And all the guys would go in the plant and they take measurements, they come back out, and they would cut this silicone cloth and they would bring it to me, and then I'd sew it together, and then they'd put the insulation in it, and then I'd sew it closed, and then they'd take it in and put it on. So they're in there working. I'm in my little room sewing. And I hear one of the guys goes, "Hey, Paul, come in here. What do you think this is?" I come walking in. They're all around that big table. I said, "What are you talking about?" These guys are from Louisiana, and they were staying at Geneva by the lake at a cottage. This is in February, so they got a real good deal on it because it's tourist area in the summer, but in the winter, not so much. So
Yeah.
they're right. They got a good deal on this cabin. They're staying there. They said, "Yeah, last night about 11 o'clock, we kept hearing this weird noise outside. And every time we'd look out, we didn't see anything. We didn't know what it was." He said, and the next thing we knew, something slapped the side of the cabin so hard that it shook. And while they're telling me this, I got on the BFRO and I'm looking in Ohio. Most recent sighting was Geneva by the lake a month
Oh,
earlier. I,
really?
I said, "Hey, look at this," and I showed them. The look on their face was priceless. They're like, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "I don't know." I said, "Look right here." And so anyway, I wish I would have gone. I didn't go over there because at the time I really wasn't into it as much as I am now, and I'm kicking myself for not going and looking for prints or anything. But
Well, that's the two-way street. It's whenever you're working, you got the money but no time, and whenever
right,
you're retired, you've got the time but no money.
yeah, exactly.
Believe me, I know. I'm retired.
I'm retired multiple times because I've gone back to work a couple times. Because being in construction, they've been really busy,
Yeah.
and that I'm very lucky that if I want to, I can usually call them up and use. Well, actually, they've called me a few times where they just don't have enough manpower,
Yeah.
and I'll go back and work just for a month or 2 months. It's
Hmm.
kind of nice because I can tell them, well, I'm only going to work this long, and then
Yeah.
I just use that to get me some new toys, new thermal, new parabolic, those kinds of things,
Yeah.
or
Hey,
just
it's
for a
good.
trip. So I
No,
am blessed in that way.
yeah, yeah, you are. That's great. That you're able to do that. Now, now have you seen a Bigfoot yet?
No, I haven't had an actual sighting. Although my friend Amy Copeland, she said I should count it because when I was in Alabama, I did see eyes looking right at me, saw them blink and everything. There's no
Okay.
question what I saw there.
Yeah.
But that's all. It was at night, and that's all I saw was the eyes. So,
Cool.
but
Cool. Now we're at in Alabama.
well, it was the PowerPoint able to work? Because I was going to go through.
Oh, sure. Yeah, if you like,
Hopefully, it worked.
I
I was
can
getting
bring
so
it up.
aggravated putting it together because it kept not showing some of the pictures. Hopefully, they'll show up. I don't know.
We'll
We'll see.
find out.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this is the very first print I ever found, and believe it or not, this is right outside of Dayton, Ohio. And if you ever watched American Werewolf, I think that's what it's called by Small Town Monsters.
Yeah.
It's kind of like about Dog Man. There's a story in that show where a guy is talking about finding some clothes that belonged to a girl. He went down to the creek to look for prints, and he found these clothes that had blood on them. I don't know if you ever watched the show, but anyway, that was at this park. That's where I found this footprint at
Oh,
that same
okay.
park,
Very
and
cool.
it was crossing the path. The path runs parallel with the creek, and the path was so packed down that I wasn't even making a mark when I would walk on it. But
Hmm.
this was going across the path toward the creek, and it looked very fresh. I mean, it looked like whatever did it had just stepped there. So I was
Yeah.
looking all over, and I couldn't find a print, after it or before it. I looked all over. I couldn't find that. It's weird how sometimes you just find one print, but that's all I
Yeah.
found. But
Yeah.
looking at
Sometimes it's, yeah,
yeah,
sometimes it's
the
the terrain and
it could be a fake, but looking at the way the toes are, the way it looks like mud is squeezed in between the toes, it
yeah.
looks pretty legit to me. I mean,
Yeah.
if somebody faked it, they did a good job on it, but
Yeah. It
and
does not look fake.
it wasn't deep enough to cast or anything. So, and it was the size of my foot. I didn't have a tape measure because I just really wasn't expecting to find a print that day, and I
Yeah.
did. But so I put my foot next to it. I did have another picture, but I didn't put it in there. But it's about the size of my foot. It's about 12 to 13 inches, that
Okay.
print. But
Oh, nice.
so that was the first one I found.
Yeah. The shizzle says a bounding run, and that's what I'm thinking also, because usually
Could,
whenever
could
they're,
be.
whenever they're running, there'll be a pretty big gap, a few yards in
Yeah.
between the footsteps.
Well, it was about around 7 in the evening. Wasn't It was a little, maybe an hour before dark. And as far as I know, I was the only one there. I never saw anybody coming in or leaving, and I never
Mhm.
saw anybody in the parking lot. So, but yeah, it may have been trying to hurry across that trail in case somebody was around, but it's a good possibility.
Okay, yeah. Bobby says
Yeah,
her
Twin
parents'
Creek.
home runs in the Twin Creek.
Right. This is at Germantown Reserve is where I found this.
Very cool. Very cool.
Okay,
Nice.
what else we got? How should Okay, this one. Shortly after I got into looking, um, let's see how this worked out. I had went in with my son to buy a property. We bought 5 acres, and he was going to live in the house. We lived in the basement at the time, and he was going to live in the house. And I was going to build another house on the property, and we were going to divide it up and live on the same property. That was the plan. And at the time, he was working remotely at Wright Pat, but he where we were at was about an hour north. And because he was working remotely, you know, everything was going to be great. Well, then they started wanting him to come in, and he didn't want to make that drive.
Yeah.
And then he decided he wanted to move and sell the house. So we ended up selling the house.
Oh,
And at this time, we were living in a little, like, a mother-in-law suite a friend of ours had. They had a little small house, very small, on their property that they weren't using. They just used it for storage. So they got all their stuff out and they let us stay in there, and we rented it from them. And while we were looking for another house. And anyway, I tell you all that because when we went there at this particular place to go camping, um, actually, if you could go to the next slide, I'll explain that. The reason I picked this place is right here. I don't know if you can read the print at the bottom, but this was New Stratesville, Ohio. This guy came from Ohio University to speak about Sasquatch evidence, and they had over 100 people show up.
oh wow.
And yeah, because New Stratesville is a town of 500, around 500 people, and
Oh,
100 people came to hear this. So that when I saw that, I thought there must be something going on there. for that
Yeah.
many people to come. So that's why I picked that particular spot. It's in Wayne National Forest,
Oh,
and
yeah.
it's a horse camp. It's the Old Stone Church Trail, and it's mostly for horseback riders and ATV. And it's closed. They open from April till October, but we went in March because I wanted to go before, because I figured once the ATVs start going, that probably runs them out of there. So
Yeah.
I wanted to go there before they open. And so when we went, we had to park out at the gate. It's very similar to the group camp at Salt Fork. It's a big loop that goes back there and just does a loop, comes out, and there's campsites all around the loop there.
Oh, cool.
And we were the only ones there. I parked at the gate because I had a gate across, and I brought a dolly. We threw everything on the dolly and walked back way back in there to camp. And when we got there, we actually got there at dark, and because we went and looked at a house that just got listed that morning, so we had to go look at it first, and they couldn't get us in till in the afternoon. So by the time we looked at it, and then we drove 2.5 hours to get to this place, it was dark. We set up our tent in the dark and everything, and I'll tell you all that because when you hear the recording, we are laying in the tent talking about listings when this happened. And I don't know if I sent you like 3 video links for my YouTube. I don't know if you can, how easy you can pull them up, but it's on my YouTube channel in the shorts, the short videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
It-
I have them up. I'm not sure if I can get them to play on screen, but which one is it? Do you remember the title?
yeah, it has that same picture. If
Oh,
I don't know, are you able to look at the channel or are you just going for the link? It has that same picture that you just saw of Old Stone Church on the
oh,
previous
okay.
slide.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know about it. If I can, let me see. Uh, I've only done this once before.
if you go into share, not the one you're in right now, but there's another one that says you can share
Share
your
screen.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go. Got it. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Hopefully we'll hear it. It takes
Architecture
about
type
30
bungalows.
seconds. That's coyotes. The very first 2 howls were the ones in particular. I'm not sure why it's playing it so quiet when you can hear our voices so good. Because it should be really loud. It was so loud at the time, we weren't even sure what direction it was. It just sounded like it was all around us. It was so loud. Yeah, I'm not sure why it's not playing so loud, but if you ever want to check it out, it's on my channel and it has that picture. Just look for that picture. But I don't know. You could hear our voices good. I don't know why the howl wasn't loud because it's really loud on the video. But anyway,
Well,
um,
yeah, probably, it came out nice and loud on my end. So
oh, okay. Well, maybe it's just me then,
yeah,
because I can
hopefully
barely
it came
hear it.
across really clear to the audience.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could hear that pretty good. Yeah, usually, yeah, the shizzles. Yeah, that sounds like a goosebumps moment. Yeah.
Yeah. People would say, did you leave right then? I would have got out of there. And I said, no, we had the tent zipped up. And
Yeah.
you know how you feel safer when you're in a tent. But, you know, like I said, we walked a long ways back in there. So it
Yeah.
wasn't like we could just jump in the car and go. We would have had to walk all,
Yep.
and it really, it's hard to believe maybe, but it wasn't scary. My wife didn't really get scared. And
Hmm.
I wasn't scared about it. I was excited because, well, in fact, I had my dog in the tent with me, and he jumped up. He was snoring away, and when he heard that, he jumped up and looked at me. I guess to gauge my reaction of, you know, is this something we should worry about? And I was just, you know, all happy because I knew I had a recorder going, and he laid back down, went back to sleep.
That's
So
good. Yeah, that was a really good catch. Yeah, usually what happens is they'll do a call and to set off the coyotes, and then that's
yeah,
exactly what they did. They did a call at the beginning, and then it set off the coyotes. What
well, I
month of
played
the
that
year was
for
that?
what? I'm sorry, what?
What month of the year was that?
Okay, that was in March of 2022.
Okay, that makes sense. March. Okay.
So what happened was after I recorded that, I posted it in a bunch of groups. I wasn't in a group. I didn't have my group at the time. It's like the very beginning, like one of the first places I went. So I
Hmm.
got really lucky, just lucky to be there at the right time. But I posted in several groups, and one of them was Amy Copeland's. That's how I got to know her. And
Hmm.
then she invited me to the following camp out the following year in April of 2023. That was the first time I went to Salt Fork.
Yeah.
So, and I might have met you at that one. I know I met you at one of them, but I don't remember which one. But I know I met you there.
Yeah,
You had that
very
cool
nice.
walking stick.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think that was one that, okay. Yeah, that was before I got the one from Gary. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about. It had a fork at the top of it. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, that's fun. Let me see. We
yeah. Where
can
are we at? Okay, go the next one is just showing where somebody actually took. If you go to the next slide, it's showing
I,
that
I have,
same.
yeah, I've got a question.
Oh,
I'm sorry about this
okay, go
one.
ahead.
Do you happen to
Yeah,
remember who the speaker was?
his name was Moody. I don't remember his first name.
Okay, because
I
I'm
think he
trying
was
to.
a professor at Ohio State. I think,
Okay, okay,
and
I
he was
was
supposed
trying
to
to
come
read
there and
here at the
speak.
bottom. Oh, there it is. Scott Moody.
Stop, maybe. Okay, yeah. I
Huh.
can't read it; it's so small, the print. But
I'll have to look him up. Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
I'd be interested to hear if they have his presentation videoed or not. I don't
Yeah,
know. That'd be good to listen to. But
yeah, it would.
okay, this was what I was going to say. Is I saw I posted this in oh, I can't remember what it's called. It was an old forum. Like I missed my prime moment. It was back in the '90s when everybody was on it. But it was I'm sure you're familiar with North American. I can't remember what all the acronym is, but the guy's name is Darren Lee or Darren. I think it is Darren
Yeah,
Lee. You know who I'm
y-
talking?
yeah, I know exactly who you're talking about.
Okay. Well,
Yes,
anyway, he had a forum back in the '90s that a lot of people were on, and they would share evidence and all that. And
yes.
I'm just getting into this. I don't know who anybody. I don't even know if I knew there was very many Facebook groups at the time. So I found that and I posted it in there just to get people's opinions on it.
Mm-hmm.
And and then this is on Reddit. It popped up on Reddit. Somebody else posted my post on in Reddit. And they didn't try to take credit for it. They did say, you know, I found this in this forum and the guy's name, or they said something about it that he didn't post it, but he saw where somebody else posted it. So
Oh, okay.
anyway, it was kind of interesting to see the comments on it, and it was kind of funny just to see something I posted all of a sudden show up somewhere else. But
Yeah. Yeah, I see that's in the Bigfoot forum on Reddit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm on that one also. I go through there every so often looking for reports.
yeah. Okay, this okay. This one is in Preble County, Ohio. Like I said, this when I very first started going out, I didn't know what I was doing. I still don't really know, but I really didn't know at this time. And I had gone out to this place. It's called the Devil's Backbone, and it's only 25 acres. It's some land that got donated to Preble County Parks by a family. And when I found out about it, I went out there and they had the gate across. They had it locked, and so I called up uh, the sheriff's department and asked them, "Can I go back there? Because they got a gate across." And I thought this was supposed to be a public park. And
Hmm.
they said, "Well, we don't know. You'll have to call the park department and ask them." So I called them and they said, "Well, we don't have enough budget yet to open it. We haven't, we got to make trails. We got to do this and do that." So it wasn't open yet. And they said, I said, "I just want to go back with my dog, place I can go walk him, let him run around back there and, not have to worry about traffic or anything." They said, "Oh, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you're fine." So I went back there and I found this perfect arch. It was a tree about 4 inches in diameter and I'd say about 30 foot tall. And it was just a perfect arch and it was stuck in the ground.
Uh-huh.
And so I decided to go back later. At another time, I go back to take a picture. When I went back, this was all right there. It wasn't there the first time, but
Oh,
when I
wow.
went back, all this was there. So I thought that was interesting. But I never found any prints or anything else, but I did find that. So
Yeah, very cool.
uh, that I was just going to say is part of the same structure. That's the other end of it. It was all those that you saw were leaning on this down tree, and on the other end were these. So
Uh-huh. Yeah,
and you,
that's a perfect.
and the road in the background there, that is a dead end road that goes back there. That what it is 127 is a state route that goes to Camden, Ohio.
Uh-huh.
And this is called Old 127. This what used to be the road, and then they made a new state route. So this road is not really; it's just a dead end that
Oh,
goes back there and stops. So
very
because the
cool.
people might see this thing, oh well, it's right by the road. I don't think that's what that is, but that road is never used. I mean, like I said, they had a gate across. I couldn't even drive back there, but
Yeah. No, that's a perfect example. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Now, okay, just looking at it right now, um, did you see any impression on the ground on either side where something had been laying?
no, no. And
And
like I said, I was pretty new, so I didn't even think of something laying there.
yeah,
I looked around, for footprints is the only thing I thought to look, but I didn't
yeah.
didn't find any.
Now, if you recall, um, okay, and it could go either side, I guess. I guess facing the way that your perspective is from this camera angle, what is in front of it? What's ahead in sight?
You mean to the right or straight
Uh,
ahead or
just straight ahead.
straight ahead is just the road. I mean, so you can see it's kind of open over there to the road.
Yeah. Okay, and then what's behind?
That arch. That's what I went to take a picture of was the arch, and then
Okay.
when I found all this stuff.
Yeah, that would be probably behind you as the photographer, like directly behind you. So that would have
Right.
been the arch.
And this was like a week or so after I found the arch. So all this showed up like within a week or so.
Interesting. Now, how long ago was this?
This was back 2022.
Okay. Yeah. You'll have to go back there sometime and see if there's any uh, if it's still there or any new
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah, as far as I know, they haven't opened the park yet. It's still they don't have a budget for it. So
Oh, yeah.
okay, this was at a place called Woodland Trails, also in Preble County. Actually, not far from where you just saw that, right up the road a little ways, maybe 10 minutes up the road.
Mm-hmm.
But Woodland Trails, it used to be a Boy Scout camp, and it's several hundred acres, I believe, of woods. Well, they ended up selling it to the ODNR, and they made it a public hunting area. And there is a BFRO report of a hunter that found footprints there in 2016. And I went back there looking around, and I actually found this in two different places like that. And it was fur laying on a branch like that. And I thought, well, it's probably just an owl got a rabbit or, a hawk and sat up there and ate it, is what I figured. And if you look at the next picture, this is a close up of one of them. I showed this to Daryl Denton. We were talking, and I showed it to him, and I told him, I think it was probably just an owl or a hawk that sat up there and ate a rabbit. He goes, I think that's coyote. And after I started looking after he said that, I think he's right. After I got to really looking, this doesn't really look like rabbit fur. It does look like coyote. So
Yeah.
that
Wow.
made it even more interesting. But it was about head high, about even with my head, where this
Okay.
was at. Two
Oh,
different spots.
wow. Interesting.
And then the next picture, you'll see this is that same place. I didn't even see that. I walked right by it. It was off the trail a little ways. But my dog, he found it. He ran over there. I didn't know what he was doing. I started walking over, and oh, that's what you're doing. I think
Mm-hmm.
he wanted to play with it because it looked like it had just died. I mean, it looked like it just took its last breath like a few minutes before we got there,
Oh,
and he acted like he was wanting it to get up and play. And I wish now I would have like checked to see if it had a broken neck or something,
yeah.
because I didn't see any blood or anything. It was way too far from the road to have gotten hit and fell there. So I don't know what killed it. I didn't know if it starved or I didn't know. I did call the local wildlife and tell them where it was at in case they wanted, for whatever reason, to go look at it. But I
Yeah.
don't know if they
Yeah.
did.
'Cause you never know, if it's poisoned or
Yeah,
diseased or whatever. So, yeah, I
yeah.
would expect them to collect it. Huh.
Okay. Now, we ended up finding a house, and I know you're not that familiar with Ohio, but if there is anybody that is kind of familiar with this area, I will tell you that we are up by Sydney, Ohio, in between Piqua and Sydney. And I started going to this reservoir there, and I found this uh, structure. The very first time I went, it's right along the trail, so that kind of makes it suspect. But
Yeah.
I walked along the trail and I see that, and I'm like, "Whoa, what is that?" And I started looking at it, and the horizontal branch, and then there's two, I call them leaners. There's one on either side of that little tree leaning.
Mm-hmm.
All three have the same bark, so they look like they came from the same tree.
Hmm.
And what's interesting is there's no tree around there that has that bark, nowhere close. So it didn't just fall there from a tree. It's somebody put it
Yeah.
there or something put it there. It got put there. It didn't just fall.
Yeah.
So, and then I got curious. I looked on a log weight calculator, and I thought this was birch, but I guess it was beech. So anyway, I went with birch on it. I'm sure it's not a whole lot of difference, but I guesstimated it to be about 14 feet long. I think I'm pretty close on that. And the average diameter, I said 6 inches because it's actually bigger than 6 out on one end and smaller on the other end. So on average, I thought 6 was a good number. And it estimated it to be 145 pounds.
Wow.
So I can't imagine why a person would carry a 145-pound log from wherever they got it and set it in there like that. I can't imagine why they would do that, but maybe they did. I don't know. I didn't see who did it, so but it was just interesting. I found it like that, and so then that started making me. I started going there fairly regular and looking around, and I found a lot of interesting things there.
Mhm.
Nothing that's really convinced me yet, but I have found some interesting stuff, and
Yeah.
uh, I I just made a video about that on my channel that talks about the things I found, but I'll talk about a couple of them here real quick. But if you go to the next one, uh, this was really wild. This is a big giant ice ball. I mean, this thing. Let me get in the camera here. I gotta go this way. It is. I'd say it's about this big around and probably about this tall.
Huh.
I mean, it's hard to tell in that picture, but what happened was when we walked back this trail here, it goes back to a ridge. The trail goes right along the top of a ridge, and that's where I found that structure. And the trail goes down to the end of the ridge, and then it just kind of dead ends. And so I sometimes I would just go there with my dog just to get him out for a walk, and we'd go to the end of the ridge, and we'd turn around and come back out, and it's like a half mile total, the whole trip. And that's what we did. We walked all the way to the end of the ridge, turn around, come back out. And when we come back out, this was in the middle of the trail. Wasn't there when we went in, but it was there when we came out. And I don't even think I could pick it up. I mean, it's got to be pretty heavy. It's solid ice. This was in January, the end of January. Over a week later, I went back and I got a picture of it. All the snow is gone. It's all melted. And you can still see it there, quite a bit of it. It's like half the size, but I mean, a week later with warmer weather, and it was still there. So I don't know. I don't know. Don't have an explanation for that. I thought, well, maybe it's a squirrel nest that fell out of a tree, but there's no trees anywhere close right there that could have fell out of. So I don't know. That was a weird thing.
Yeah. And you looked up, there wasn't a tree right there that it was.
No, the only trees anywhere close, the branches were all really small. There,
Yeah.
there's no way it could have held that weight.
Wow. Wow.
I don't know. And this was even weirder because I worked in construction for years. We got a habit of we always just would back in when we went somewhere.
Yeah.
And this little parking lot there, right by where the trail starts, this is at a dam, and what it is, this road, it goes across the dam, but they have a gate right there to block it. They don't want you driving back toward the dam, so they just got a little tiny parking lot right there. Maybe fits like 8 cars. And I backed in, and same thing. We did our little walk to the end of the ridge, come back out, go to get in the car. My dog goes around on the passenger side. And so I called for him, said, come on. And he come around on the driver's side, and I open the door and he gets in. I get in, I start to pull forward, and the car goes like that. And I'm like, what was that? So I pulled up a little farther and looking in the mirror, and there's a dead cat laying there, black
Jeez.
cat. And, I backed in, so it wasn't there when I parked. And it couldn't have been alive because my dog went around on that side before he got in. He would have chased it off, or, it wouldn't have just stayed right there after my dog went right around there and then come back around on my side. And so I went back like 2 days later and took this picture. This isn't where it was when it happened. It was in between my tires. It
Oh,
was farther out into the parking lot.
oh, geez.
And I don't know how. I don't have an explanation. All I know is we did that little short walk, come back out, and went to leave, and it was under my car somehow.
Jeez. Wow.
So it's almost like there's something there trying to see if I notice things. That's what it feels like. Like they do these little things and see if I notice or whatever. I don't
Yeah.
know.
who knows why,
Yeah,
if it's one of them doing it or whatever's doing it, or if it's a,
it it could have been a person. I don't know, but this is a dead end road. I mean,
yeah.
you drive. It's over a mile off of the other road to get back there, and there's maybe three houses right there. It could have been somebody there. I don't know. This is a print I found one time there. It's the only print I've ever found, but it looks like it has toes. And this was in April. It's right along the lake there, and I can't see why anybody would take off their shoes in April and go tromping in the mud. But anyway, that's the only thing and it was about the size of my foot, that print.
Okay. Yeah, you
So
can see the toe imprint, that it,
yeah,
I know Amish will take off their shoes, and walk around the mud, but April,
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
There's no Amish real close to there, but this
Okay.
is West Union, Ohio, Adams County, which is where Hocking Hills is. I'm sure you've
Mm-hmm.
heard of Hocking Hills.
Yeah.
It's not real close to Hocking Hills on the other side of the county, but this is part of the Buckeye Trail. And if you're not familiar, or a lot of people don't know, but the Buckeye Trail is a voluntarily maintained trail that goes around the perimeter of Ohio. But it's not one continuous trail. It's not like the Appalachian Trail. It just has patches of it here and there. Like you might go to one spot and walk for 6 miles,
Mm-hmm.
and then the next one might be 30 miles away, and you got to drive or you got to walk up the road, but it's not a continuous trail. And this is just one little portion of it down there in West Union, near outside of West Union, Ohio. And
Okay.
I went down there with my dog, and we slept in the truck. And this is a little tiny parking lot there where you go to walk the trail. And I that's where I ended up. I slept in my truck, and so I think it was the first day I got there. It was just getting dark. I'd brought this little portable fire ring with me, and so I had a little fire going, got my coffee ready, and all that. And it was almost dark. It was like an hour before dark, and this car pulls in next to me, and he's from Michigan. This young guy, looks like he's in his early 20s, and he gets out and he says hi, and we talking to each other a little bit, and he's going around messing in his trunk, and he pulls out a backpack and puts it on. I said, "You going hiking right now?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "Well, it's going to be dark here pretty quick." He goes, "Yeah, that's all right. I don't care." I said, "Okay, well, be careful." He takes off down the trail. I'm sitting there by the fire, and it was probably, I'd say it's close to 2 hours later. I see a headlamp coming up the trail, and I'm watching, seeing him. He comes up there, and I said, "Well, how was it?" He goes, "Oh, it was pretty good." He goes, "But it was weird." He goes, "After I got back in there, just before it was getting dark, there was it looked like a teenager in a gray sweater went running and hid behind a tree." And I said, "Hey, what are you doing? Why are you hiding?" And he wouldn't answer me. Yeah. And he's telling me this, and I said, "Are you sure it was a teenager?" He goes, "Well, what else would it be?" And I said, "Well, maybe it was a Bigfoot." And he goes, "In Ohio? Are you kidding me?" I mean, he really had no clue, but I just thought that was interesting that he thought it was, and maybe it was, but I don't think it was a teenager. But he said it was wearing a gray sweater
Uh-huh.
and ran and hid behind a tree. And he kept yelling to it, "Come out! Why are you hiding?" And he wouldn't answer him. And he just thought that was really odd.
Interesting. So, okay,
So
let's break this down a little bit. Gray sweater, and he thought it was a teenager, so that would mean it was
yeah,
a little bit smaller,
right,
perhaps
yeah.
thinner. Um,
And there is a story of Scott. I can't think of his last name, but he had a channel. I don't remember what his channel's called, but he has a younger sister. I think he's in Colorado, but his sister claims she saw a young gray Bigfoot that was about 4 foot tall.
okay.
So, and I have heard a couple other people talk about seeing a young one that was gray. Because I always thought, well, that must have been an older one, but I've
Yeah.
heard people say they've seen young ones that were gray. So I don't know.
Well, it would depend on the height also. Because I've seen a gray one before around here, and but he was closer to 8 foot, but he was thin.
Hmm.
Interesting, very
Yeah, I thought
interesting.
it was.
Another place for you to follow up on.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't have any experience the whole time I was there, but other than that, I mean, I didn't see anything myself, but
Yeah, I've yet to go to Hocking Hills and down in that area.
it's beautiful.
Yeah, that's what I hear. And Wayne National Forest, they're both on my bucket list. And yeah, maybe
Well,
next year.
one thing I would say is the very first place I went, very first time I went out at all was Benton County, Ohio. The reason I picked there was it has the smallest population of all the counties in Ohio. And I'm
Okay.
thinking, well, they don't like to be around people, so the least population seems like that'd be a good place. So,
Yeah.
and this was a state forest, not a national forest, not Wayne, but it's called Benton Furnace State Forest is what it's called. And so I went there. I thought it was funny. They had signs up that said the forest closes at 11 p.m. and opens at 6 a.m. Of course, I didn't pay attention to that. I slept in my truck there. I drove way back. There's a town called MacArthur in Ohio, and the road starts not far from there, and it's a gravel road. You're driving, and it's nothing but woods, and then it's a dirt road, and it's nothing but woods, and you drive probably 4 miles or more way back in there, and then there was a gate across, and that was as far as I could go. So that's where I parked. And anyway, I never had any experience there other than sleeping in my truck, and several times during the night my dog went nuts, and I sat up and shined a light, but when you're in a vehicle and you're trying to look out with a light, it's just reflecting back and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can't see. But
No.
I don't know, because I cracked the window in case he might have heard something. It was in February, but you know that's all that I experienced. But what I was going to say though that was really interesting is because it's called Vent Furnace. I didn't know this till this trip, and I started doing research. Ohio was like a major iron industry in the 1800s,
Mhm.
and there's a guy named Ora Anderson. He's a conservationist. I don't think he's alive now. I think he's dead, but he was a newspaper editor in Jackson, Ohio, in the 20s and 30s when he was young, and he was telling about this that during the 1800s when they were doing the iron industry, there's I forget like 60 some furnaces in Ohio, and this furnace at Benton Furnace, it's just back in the middle of the woods. It's just some ruins back there, well, what's left
Mhm.
of it. And he said they were clearing 30 acres a day of woods for charcoal because they needed charcoal to do the forging.
Right.
And he said they totally deforested all of southern Ohio during the
Right.
1800s.
Yeah.
And he said when the depression happened, the government bought up all that land, and then they were to create jobs. They were paying people to plant trees, and they reforested. That's how Wayne National Forest came about.
Oh, okay.
So it's
Yeah.
a young forest, really. And then that made me think too. If there, which I'm sure there were Bigfoot in Ohio, where did they all go during that time? Because they wouldn't have stayed with no woods, I wouldn't think. So they may have all went to Kentucky or Pennsylvania, and then some of them have made it back. So I don't know. It's interesting. I didn't know that this whole thing about the Ohio being deforested. It's crazy to even think about. But he's
Yeah.
got pictures of the bare hills where they did it.
Wow.
So
Wow. It's fun whenever you run into those old furnaces. Just the ruins.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty interesting. Just exploring the history of an area.
Yeah. Oh,
Uh,
you're familiar with that.
I am very familiar with that. Love it. Absolutely
Like,
love that area.
like I said, when I posted that how, it was in some group, and Amy happened to be in that group, and she saw the post, and she sent me a message, and she said, "Would you mind joining my group and posting it there?" And I said, "Sure." So I did, and then we just ended up becoming good friends.
Yeah.
And she invited me there, and I've been camping. I try to go several times a year. I've been twice this year already,
Hmm.
and I went like 4 times in 2024, I think. But
Nice.
uh, there's some prints that we found there, which is what the next few pictures are. If they'll
Okay.
hopefully, so far all the pictures are showing up. Now this one's one of those optical illusions. To me, right now, it looks like it's inverted, like it's raised, but
Yeah.
it's actually sunk. I don't know why it's like that, because when it was upside down, it
Yes.
doesn't look that way, but when it's that way, it does. But it was sunk in. It's not sticking up like it looks like. That was about the size of my foot right there. And it just didn't look deep enough to cast, so I didn't bother with that one.
Okay.
The next one,
Uh, yeah, Bobby Younts. Yeah, Amy Boo. If you're speaking about Amy Copeland, she's in
hey,
Ohio.
yeah,
She's in
yeah, I'm
Monroe
sorry,
County. But
Amy
Amy
Copeland,
Boo is she lives in Columbiana County, Ohio. Um,
right? Amy Copeland lives in Monroe County, and I don't know where Amy Boo lives exactly, but I think it's somewhere around Youngstown, maybe.
yeah, just outside of Youngstown. Yeah,
Yeah,
in Columbiana County.
yeah. I'm sorry, I should have made that clear. I meant Amy Copeland when I was mentioning Amy. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I know both ladies, and yeah, Amy Copeland. She's an amazing researcher. I've always been in absolute awe of her.
and she's a great person too.
She is. She is so
She brings
sweet.
enough for everybody. Like at camp, she's like, "Do you need this? Do you need that? I got this. You need
Yep.
that?" She's
Yep.
just, this is one of those people.
Willing to pitch in anywhere, and such a nice lady. Love her.
Yeah,
And Amy Boo, she is former BFRO, and
yeah,
she has her own organization. She goes out to Washington State, and she travels everywhere.
yeah. I'm
Let's-
familiar with her, but I've never met her in person. Just,
she used to be one of my team members,
oh, okay.
Amy Boo.
This next one was at Salt Fork also.
Okay. Ooh,
That one
nice.
I actually cast. It was the first time I ever did a cast. It wasn't a huge print, as you can see, but I thought the
Mhm.
cast came out pretty good for being a rookie. I had
Okay.
a friend, Carrie Barath. She had the casting material, and she kind
Mhm.
of gave me some pointers. But at least it didn't break. I was happy with that, and
Yeah.
came out good.
Nice
And
print.
then,
That is so deep, also.
yeah,
Perfect.
and then the next one, I wish I would have cast this one. I didn't cast it,
Huh.
but I had these pictures on my phone for over a year, and I was sitting there on my lunch break one day. Just I started making it bigger and looking at it. It has 6 toes. I didn't notice it when I was looking at it.
Oh, interesting.
You look at where the scrapes are in the mud. You can see there's 6 of them, and if you can see the toes, there's actually 6 toes there, but it's hard to make out the toes because it's dark. But
Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
and if
Well,
I had noticed it, I would have cast that one for sure. But I didn't notice it at
yeah.
the time.
Yeah. Was that at Salt Fork?
Yeah, all three of those were at the same time. We found all three of them at the same spot.
Okay. That's down
It was
along
right
the
at
lake.
the edge of the lake, and there was
Yeah.
a bunch of cattails. and they
Yep.
were heading over toward the cattails.
Well, you never know. You may find that print again, because they tend to stick around.
Yeah. Now this picture, we're in Oklahoma, and
Ah, another place that I love.
I should have got. Well, actually, I think I did ask you when I was going out there some places. I think I did contact you and ask you to
Yeah,
give me some pointers because I didn't know the area. And what happened was I listened to a podcast. I think it was Bigfoot Society, and I might have listened to somebody else too. But I heard this guy. There's somebody I know you probably familiar with him, Randy Harrington.
yeah,
I think he's from Kansas, I think, but he goes down to Oklahoma all the time,
yeah.
and he knows this guy that's a realtor. And then I saw that realtor was on the Bigfoot Society, so I looked him up and found him on Facebook, and I called him, or not called him, but I sent him a message on Messenger and just said, "Hey, I was going to be coming to Oklahoma, and I just heard you on Bigfoot Society. I was just wondering if you could give me some ideas of good places to go look. I was going to stay in the Kiamichi Mountains probably. I was
Yep.
going to just do like some dispersed camping is what I had in mind."
Mm-hmm.
Well, then he said, "Well, I got 80 acres up there in the Kiamichis. If you want to stay on my property up there."
Yep.
I said, "Oh yeah, that'd be great." So he told me that'd be fine. So we're going down there, and my wife's like, "Now, who is this guy?" I said, "I don't know him." I said, I just talked to him on, well, we did talk on the phone.
Yeah.
And, well, what happened was there's a lot of rain right at that time. And he called, we talked on the phone a couple times, and he called me and said, "Hey, I hate to tell you, but that property's flooded right now. We had so much rain." He goes, "But if you want to just stay on my property where I live, you can do that." I said, "Oh, okay." So that's where I'm at. His house is, I don't know, over 100 yards probably from where we're at right here. He took me back there and said, "Pick wherever you want right here. You can stay anywhere right here." So that's where we set up our tent. And I don't know if you can tell, I got my parabolic there, but um, anyway, he's just a super nice guy. We really hit it off. I'm
Yeah.
a musician, and he's a musician, and so we sat around the campfire playing and stuff, and did karaoke, and we just had a great time. And he has a side by side, a real nice one. And he had another guy. His name was Steve Jones. He's from Miss Louisiana. He's from Louisiana. He
Okay.
was staying on the property also. He was up by their house camping somewhere up in there. So anyway, if you go to the next one, uh, I don't know if
I'm
this
just,
picture's going to come out or not. We'll see.
you know, Pyro is commenting, yeah, careful trusting those Okies.
Well, everybody I met was really good, really nice. But
Yeah, he's in Oklahoma.
oh, okay, yeah, I loved it out there. What's the next picture? I'm going to see if it's going to come up. I'm curious. Oh, okay, that's that Steve Jones right there. I rode
Okay.
with him over. This is you've probably been there, Tallahena,
Yes.
the museum.
Yes. Yeah.
And she just moved. I don't know if you knew that, but she moved to another location.
Oh, she's not in Tallahena anymore.
No, but
Oh, she had
so we
such a
go
nice
there.
museum in there.
Yeah, it was real nice. I
Yeah.
didn't know this. I'm staying with this realtor guy, and he's telling me, "Hey, I'm going to be going over to the museum tonight. You're welcome to come along." He said, "I'm going to be doing some music." They asked him to come and play some music. So I rode with Steve, and we get there, and I find out they're having a party for researchers, and
Oh,
there's like 30 of them there. I didn't even know that was going on, but yeah,
wow.
so I just got really like, if you look at the next picture, I think I got a picture of all the people. Well, this is
Okay. Yeah.
the
Gary
next picture
says
is
that she's in Clayton now with a bigger
Clayton.
store.
Yeah. And I just talked to her. She said this Bigfoot, she called him Buddy. I think she said it was like 10 foot,
Wow.
but for whatever reason, it's not at the new museum, which is kind
Oh,
of a bummer because that was a big one. But yeah, this is some of the people that were there, and then the next picture is well, actually, the guy right in front of the Bigfoot with the hat, camo hat. His name is Dave Wilbanks. He's
Okay.
actually an author. He's got a YouTube channel called Bigfoot and More,
Yeah.
and he does a lot of stuff about the Kiamichis. And he wrote a book, and I got his book while I was there. But
Yeah, I'm
anyway,
familiar with him. Good guy.
yeah, yeah, real nice. And he's got a music store too.
Oh,
Okay, what's the next one? I think is a group picture. And that lady in the front there, that's Cindy Goodbreak from
oh,
Idaho. She
yes.
was there.
Yes.
And
Wow. You had
the
a
guy on the right in the white T-shirt, that's the realtor. His name's Denny. Super nice guy that let me stay on his property. And on the other side of the lady in the blue jacket is the guy I rode with, Steve Jones. And then I don't know the other people, but in the very back, there's a guy with sunglasses on his head. Right behind him, there's a guy wearing a black ball cap, got glasses.
yeah.
That guy, I don't know his name, but he's part of a Bigfoot group in Oklahoma. And I'm just bringing him up because you'll see here in a second why I'm mentioning him. But let's go. Well, back up one more time. The lady in the red on the left, red hair, the red-headed lady, that's the lady that owns the museum. Her name's Tanya Cordet. Real nice lady. So anyway, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I recognized anyone else in there, but the screen's a little bit too small.
Yeah, that picture didn't come out real good. This is we're in the side by side, and then Steve Jones he brought his side by side. And do you ever go on the K Trail?
No.
Are you familiar with it?
No, I don't think I had time to do that much exploring, and
Well,
we
this
didn't
is
have any
really,
side by sides.
yeah, I was just so lucky that I met Denny and he let me stay on his property. He took me out a bunch on this side by side. And if you look at the next picture, we're on the K Trail. And this is kind of deceptive because this is like the really nice part of the K Trail. It looks like a fire road or something, but this trail, it goes through the Kiamichi Mountains all the way into Arkansas. And I
Okay.
guess this trail was used in the 1800s or 1700s with the wagons. They would go west using this trail. And this, like I said, is deceptive because this is not bad at all. But parts of that trail is nothing but big rocks, and I don't even know with a Jeep you'd have trouble in some places. But the
Yeah.
side by sides, they seemed to handle it pretty good. We didn't have any problem. We went one night. I think it was like almost 15 miles on this trail,
Huh.
and we went to Area X, and
Okay.
see, the way because he's a realtor, he had access to places because like he had a key to the gate to some places that had a gate.
Yeah.
He'll say, "Yeah, I just sold this property," and he goes, "I want to take you over here and show you." And he opened the gate, and we go back in there, and he'd show me. And what it is, this K Trail is public, but the land on either side in places is private. A lot of places,
Yeah.
not
Whenever
all
I
of it
was
is.
there, we stayed at the Bigfoot cabin in Hanobia.
I know, yeah.
Yeah,
Chuck
and
with Chuck,
yeah, with Chuck. Yep, Chuck Schlobs.
I don't, I don't know Chuck, but I know the name. But
Yeah, good
but
guy.
so we went to part of Area X, and it was like on the top of a mountain,
Mm-hmm.
and we got out, walked around, and there's a like an abandoned house there, an old house. It looked really old that just been abandoned,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe a little shed or something. And when we got out, I'm walking around. I had my thermal. I got a pulsar. That was one of the things I went back to work for. It was like $1,400, but
Mm.
I got this thermal and started looking around, and I saw. I still don't. This sounds funny, but I don't know if it was a bear or a hog because all I could see was the body shape
Mm-hmm.
and its head was turned facing me in line with its body, so I really couldn't see the shape of the head.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure which it was a large, whatever it was either a bear or a hog. And I showed it to Denny. I said, "Hey, check this out," and he went and it took off. So I don't know what it was, but that was all we saw there the whole time.
Oh, wow.
And
Yeah,
I
Chuck
wish I could
said,
say we had a lot of Bigfoot experiences, but no, we didn't. But it's still beautiful, and I loved meeting the people.
oh,
Now,
yeah.
I'll say the one thing that did happen that's coming up here in one of these pictures. Uh,
Oh,
that figures. Let's see what the next one is. That's what I was talking about. I had a bunch of them that didn't come out for whatever reason.
yeah,
Is that
Chuck
the next
said
one?
that he could have
Okay, there
taken
we go.
us back to Area X, but we didn't have access to any
Right.
side by sides or anything like that, unfortunately.
Well, the reason I know this doesn't look like much, you wonder why is he taking a picture. There's a story to this. Okay, this is Denny, the guy I was staying with, the realtor. Um, if you look straight ahead, if you were to keep going straight ahead, there's a pond up there.
Mm-hmm.
This is where he had one of his sightings. He had it on his own property. It was a gray one too on this property. It was on the other side of the pond, standing there looking at him. But anyway, we're up at his house, which is like well over 100 yards from here. Right, actually, probably more like 200 yards from right here. And we're up there sitting around the fire, drinking beer and playing the guitar and just doing songs and just having a good old time. And it was like after midnight. And all of a sudden he just stops. He goes, "I think we need to go down to the pond." And I said, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I don't know." He goes, "I just feel like we need to go down there." I said, "Okay, let's go." So the girls stayed, my wife and his wife, they just stayed there by the fire. We walked down there to the pond. Well, we didn't see anything. We didn't hear nothing. Nothing really happened. We just went down there and looked. And I didn't know where the pond was. I knew he had told me about it, but it was down from where I was camping, and I didn't know how to get to it. So after he showed me, I knew where it was. So anyway, nothing happened. He went on to bed, and I went on in the tent. We went to bed. Well, the next morning I got up and I thought, well, I'm going to go down there, walk around that pond, see if I can find any prints or anything. So I started heading down this trail. This is the trail going to the pond. This branch is like hanging down right in my face in the trail. It wasn't there the night before, but it was there, when I come out in the morning. So I told him about it, and that's why he's taking a picture. And if you look at the next picture, hopefully it's on there.
Oh,
Uh,
oh,
I don't know why. There were several of them I put on there, and I'd be add more pictures, and I'd scroll back up, and they're gone. I don't know why. Anyway, it was twisted. It was twisted
it
and
was
broke
twist.
off and hanging down in the trail. That's
Wow.
why he's taking a picture of it.
Wow.
Okay,
Cool.
obviously this is Falk, Arkansas. I don't know if
Mm-hmm.
you ever been there, but the Monster Mart.
Not yet.
It's it's worth going to. I think it's a really cool little store. It almost looks like a gas station. It's about the size of a gas station, but it has so much in there. They got it crammed full of stuff. They got a room where you go on back, and it's all about Legend of Boggy Creek. It has like old movie posters and
Mhm.
has a couple of Bigfoots in there, and it's just a cool place. But I had to go there, and
Of course.
I think the picture before that was me standing next to the sign that said Boggy Creek.
Oh,
Uh, we're driving down the road, and I tell my wife, pull over, pull over. She goes, "Why?" I said, "You got to pull over right here. I got to get a picture." She goes, "Of what?" I said, "I'm going to stand next to that sign." And then had her take some pictures for me, but she she didn't understand why I wanted to do that. It was just a little sign that said Boggy Creek, but
yes.
you know why.
Yes.
Everybody, I'm sure everybody listening knows why, but she didn't. She's not really into Bigfoot, but she likes
Not
to
really.
camp.
Oh,
So
oh.
okay, this was pretty cool. We went to a place there just south of Falk called Mercer Bayou, and it was just really like a canal that went down through there. And I was thinking, man, that'd be a cool place to take a kayak at night. But we, I should explain, I guess, when we were at Denny's and the realtor, and we were going to go ahead and head back toward home, but I wanted to go to Falk first. So, well, we ended up, I was going to go to Broken Bow State Park,
Mhm.
and I called them because it was going to be Veterans Day. And I said, are you going to be open tomorrow? And they said, yeah, we're open. I said, oh, okay. Do you have tent sites available? And, yeah, yeah. I said, okay. I just want to make sure before I come. And she goes, well, you can go online and make reservations. I said, no, I was just going to come in tomorrow and pay cash. And she goes, well, we don't take cash.
Uh,
And we had drawn our cash out. We didn't leave it in the bank. We drew it out so you'd have it.
yeah.
And so I couldn't just go online and do it because the cash wasn't in the bank. It was in my pocket. So
Oh.
anyway, so we ended up not going to Broken Bow. We went to Mina and stayed at a campground there. And anyway, we go to this Mercer
Infamous.
Bayou just to go hiking. I
Yeah.
just wanted to go somewhere around Boggy Creek and go hiking. And we go hiking down this trail, and we're going way back in the woods. And I see this sign back in the woods. I was like, "What's that sign?" So I go walking over there. I couldn't tell until I got up close, and that's what the sign was. So I
Cool.
thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, Mena, Arkansas, infamous for other reasons, not Bigfoot related.
Yeah, they do
Oh,
have a little like a Bigfoot shop there though. That was pretty neat. Not
in
real
Mena,
big, but
really? Yeah,
and
I
that's where I got
passed
my
through.
hats.
Oh, yeah, I
We
passed
both
through
have.
there on the way home, but didn't stop.
Okay, now we're in Alabama.
Okay.
Now, to explain this, my grandsons do Bible quizzing. They like memorize. It's crazy how they can memorize verses and stuff. But they have these
Mhm.
competitions, and they were going to have a competition in Pensacola. And so I told my wife, I said we should go down there, show our support. And I'm thinking and make a Bigfoot trip out of it. But I told her, I of course I want to go see the grandkids, but so we go down there and we got a B&B in Pensacola, stayed with my son, and we're staying in this B&B. They were only going to be there a couple of days for the competition. And so I think it was the last night of the competition. I go to it. It's over like at 10:30, I think. And it's our last night. We're going to leave the next day. So I'm wanting to do some squatching. So I get it out and start looking at maps, what's around. And I saw that name, Boggy Hollow. I was like, oh man, I got to check that place out, Boggy Hollow.
Yeah.
And then what had happened was before I left, I got on Grok, which is, if you're familiar with X, Twitter. That's
Yeah.
the AI that Elon has on Twitter,
Hmm.
X. And I got on there and just asked, where's the best place in Alabama to see a Bigfoot at this time of year? And it said Conecuh National Forest.
Oh,
So I thought, and it said a specific area. So I thought, okay, well, I'll go there and check it out. 'Cause AI is not like it's all knowing, but it can go through data in
yeah.
seconds that
Yeah.
take you hours to go through. That's why I used it, and I'm
Yeah.
sure it went through like sighting reports and all that of this time of year when I was there, and it said that spot. So anyway, I go there, and I went to Boggy Hollow first on the way there. So I get there. It was like an hour drive from Pensacola up there. And like I said, it was about 10:30 when they got done with their competition. So I'm getting there. It's close to midnight by the time I get to Boggy Hollow. And I walked around Boggy Hollow for probably an hour. And the only thing I saw was I saw this light, real bright. It was white colored. And I thought, well, that must be a porch light or security light at somebody's house. I saw it. It was super bright, and like I said, it was white. Only one. And when I saw it, I thought, well, that must be what it was. But then it disappeared. I couldn't see it no more. And I'm looking around. I'm walking all over. I'm like, where did it go? I don't see it. So I keep on walking around, and then I finally see it again, only it looks farther away now. And so I thought, well, that's weird. And then I lost it again, and I'm looking around, and I keep walking and walking. I'm walking toward it, trying to get closer to get a better idea of what it is. And it keeps disappearing on me and then reappearing. But I only saw one every time.
Hmm.
And I had convinced myself I was seeing a porch light or something.
Yeah.
But now, well, this was before I went to Conica, and Conica is where I saw the eyes. So anyway, if you look at the next slide, if it shows up, this is from my video. Yeah, you can't really tell a whole lot there, but that light right there, that's what I was seeing. And it's right by a tree, and now I'm thinking it was something peeking around a tree
Yeah.
because it kept moving. But all in my head, all I could think of is that's a porch light. And then after like I'd never been there before. Well, the next day I'm looking at a map, and there's no houses anywhere around there, nowhere close to there.
Hmm.
So now I'm thinking that's what that was. I've seen eye shine, or I don't know.
Yeah. It's
Anyway,
possible. Yeah. If you want me to play that video, I can put
uh,
that on.
I do want you to play it when I was at Conica, because those are real short. That one, I think it's like 10 minutes long. But if anybody wants to look at, I have three of them. It's Boggy Hollow, part 1, 2, and 3. It's part 2 where you'll see that. So on my channel. Okay. The next one is where I go to Conica.
And hold on one second. And his YouTube channel, it's the same name,
Right.
Western Ohio Bigfoot Research.
Research. Yeah.
So just look that up on YouTube and make sure you subscribe, guys. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Get it. I just barely got over 100 now. So
Well,
okay. Okay. What's the next one? Okay. Now where that red arrow is pointing. Well, let me just explain. I go to Conica after Boggy Hollow. So by this time it's after 1 in the morning, and I'm walking around. It's Conica National Forest is what it is. I'm walking around back in there, and it was actually pretty chilly. It was in March, and I'm thinking we're going to Pensacola. It's going to be warm. I'm not worried about it. Well, I was actually getting pretty cold here. My fingers are getting cold, and I'm walking the trail, and at one point I saw eye shine on my left. I heard something moving, and I looked over, and I saw some eye shine uh, looking over this tall grass. It was
mm,
about grass was maybe 3 foot high, and it was looking, and I saw it blink. It's looking right at me, and it blinks. And I'm like, whoa. And I got my thermal out real quick and started looking with my thermal, and there's nothing there. And then so I take the thermal away, and I'm looking, it's gone, whatever it was.
oh,
So I thought, well, must have been a deer that took off or something. So I didn't think much about it. And I go a little farther, and I see eye shine on the other side, and get the thermal out, look, and it is a deer. So I'm thinking, okay, well, yeah, that was probably a deer. So I keep on going, and that's all that happened. I'm walking along, and I'm getting cold, and I'm finally like, well, there's nothing going on. I think I'm just going to head back. So I thought I turned around to go back, but I accidentally went the opposite way, and I'm going deeper, which
oh,
I'm glad I did now. I kept on going, and I'm walking along, and I saw these bushes that they were, it's hard telling this picture, but they're taller than me, quite a bit taller. And I I heard something. I saw the bushes. I was like, I don't remember them. And I got out my hiking app, and I realized, okay, I'm going the wrong way. I need to go back that way. So I go walking along these bushes, and I heard something, and I looked over, and where that arrow's pointing is where I saw those two eyes looking right at me. They're
oh,
taller than me. They're above my head, looking right at me, and they blinked. And I didn't have my camera on. I had a recorder. I was carrying a Zoom recorder in my hand, so I have it on audio. But I grabbed my phone out real quick when I saw those eyes. I grabbed it out and started videoing. And at the time, I didn't think I caught anything. I'm looking, I didn't see nothing. I'd say, man, I just saw eye shine. And they were big and they were up pretty high, and I'm talking about it. Well, that tree on the left, this video that we're getting ready to watch, on the left of that tree, there's a pair of eyes, and they're probably up as high as that arrow, and they duck behind that tree super fast. So fast that I didn't even see it when I'm standing right there. I didn't see it till the next day. I looked at the video and I realized I caught it. And what's interesting is they ducked to the right behind that tree, but then, like within like 2 seconds, you see eye shine to the left of that tree in the bushes.
Hmm.
So unless there's more than one, which is quite possible, I'm thinking it ducked to the right, but then backtracked to the left to
Okay.
trick me. That's what I think it did. I think it tricked me to make me think it was that direction, but really it went back the other way. So I thought that was interesting. But if you go on my channel over here, it's let me see if I can make sure where it's at. It's
So,
in the shorts, the short videos. It's probably going to be it'll look all dark, I think.
is it eye
The
shine at
video.
Conecuh National?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, wait a minute here.
It won't matter if you
Right
can
to
hear
the-
it or not.
I
Yeah,
see.
it's a really short
I can see
video.
eye shine right through the.
Do you see it duck?
I see.
Look how fast it
I can
moves.
see eye shine right through the. I see.
It's almost like a
I can
cartoon.
see eye shine right through the.
Yep, it flashes there.
I see. I can see eye shine right through.
Ah,
And see, like I said, it ducks to the right, but
I
then
can
right
see
after
eye
that,
shine right through the.
I didn't see it at the time, but
I
when I
can
watched
see
the
eye
video
shine right
back,
through the.
that's zoomed in from what I actually saw. So you're seeing a lot clearer than what I saw because that's zoomed in of the video. And
yeah.
then you see it in the bushes for just a second right after that. And then if you go back to there, the next one, it says big eyes watching me.
Oh,
Back on the
oh,
channel.
oh, okay. All right, hold on.
Sorry.
That's okay. Big eyes.
This is the same bushes. This is right after I'm walking along the bushes, and I'm saying the only way I'm going to see one, these bushes are so thick.
That is over there. There's two lights.
Yep. Here we go. You'll see it right here.
Mm-hmm. Yep, there it is.
You know,
I don't know what
I
that
saw
is
that,
over
but
there. There's two lights.
I was saying it's two lights because they looked white and they were real bright, and I wasn't seeing that's zoomed in, so I wasn't seeing it that good myself when I'm standing there. It was farther away than what it looks there because that's a zoomed in video. But I thought it was lights again. I'm thinking it's porch lights or something. And the next day when I watch the video and see them moving, I'm like, whoa, those are actually eyes, and I didn't
Mhm.
realize it. So anyway, I saw that, and I didn't know for sure if they were eyes or not. So I'm walking away from there, still heading back to my car, and I'm going up this hill, and I hear a barred owl. So I stop and I got my recorder. I'm like, I'm going to catch this barred owl on my recorder. So I'm just standing there listening. And all of a sudden it sounds like something is rushing up behind me from behind. I mean,
Oh,
I'm thinking mountain lion or something because I mean, it sounds like it's coming super fast, coming up on me from behind. I'm grabbing my bear spray. I got some bear spray in my pocket. I'm reaching back to grab it, turning around. I'm still hearing it, but I don't see nothing. But I still hear it coming. And
mhm.
I'm looking, and then all of a sudden all this stuff hits the ground. And it was this really tall tree. I don't know how this happened, but these branches broke off way up high and was coming down the tree, and the bark was coming down. It started peeling the bark as it's coming down,
Oh,
and that's what I was hearing.
oh
I mean,
my.
it's coming closer, but it's coming closer vertically instead of horizontally.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't know what it was. I'm turning around, I don't see nothing, and all of a sudden it hits the ground. Man, that scared me because I thought something was coming up on me fast.
Yeah.
And there's a
Oh,
video on there. You don't have to play it now, but if anybody wants to watch it, it's called Near Miss, and that's where I walk over right after it happens, and I show where all the bark is and everything. And there's a bear spray. My bear spray's laying there on the path. I dropped it because I was just trying to get it out so quick. But let's just say I have to hit this guy up.
yep.
Yes, definitely, definitely. Join us at what? Wait, what's that say? I'm not seeing the bottom of it.
Oh, okay. It says I'm going to have to hit this guy up when I'm in Ohio for a camp out and invite him to join us at camp for the company and stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. You get on this group on Facebook.
Yeah. You don't
Western
have to be from
Ohio,
Ohio.
and hit him up. Let's
So,
see.
when I was going to go to Alabama, I should have got a hold of you too. So I got a hold of Victoria Jackson,
Yeah.
and because I knew she knew people from Alabama, and
Yeah.
she met or contacted a guy or told me about a guy named Mark Green,
Oh, yeah.
Cedar Bottoms, I think Cedar Creek Bottoms or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah. Mark's a good guy.
Anyway, yeah, Mark and Rebecca.
Yes.
So she gave me his name and stuff, and I got a hold of him and told him I was coming to Alabama and wanted to know some good places to go. So he told me about this place called Holland's Hunter
Yes.
Camp.
Oh,
Have you been
yes.
there?
I was invited there. Haven't been able to make it, but I've heard quite a bit about it.
Okay. Well, it's very primitive camping.
Yes. Yeah.
It's beyond primitive camping because there's no toilets, there's no fire ring, there's no picnic table. There's just a place to put a tent. That's it. I
Mhm.
mean, and it's like group camp, except it's bigger. It goes way, way, way back and makes a loop and comes back out. And where it makes a loop, that is the Pinhoti Trail. It's a trail that goes like 80 miles through the Talladega. That's actually part of the Talladega there.
Okay.
And actually where the other end of the Pinhoti is the other place that Grok told me was a good place to see a Bigfoot. Was it the other end of the north end of the Pinhoti?
Okay.
And so I go to this wildlife management area, and it's just me and my wife. We're the only ones there, and we camp there. And this guy in my group, in my Facebook group, he sends me a message. He says, "You're in Alabama?" And I said, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, so am I." He goes, "I think we're kind of hitting the same spots. We should hook up." So I said, "Well, come on down." And I told him where I was at. So he comes down there to camp. And all I knew was his name was Martin. Well, when he got there and I looked at him, I was like, "I know you." He's the guy does camping with Sasquatch. That's who it was. And so he comes down there and camped with us at this wildlife management area. If you
Hmm.
go to the next picture, uh, there's the Hollands. That's a sign for it.
Yeah.
Okay, go to the next one. Yeah, that's him there, Martin. I think Martin Lotsberg, and he has a channel called Camping with Sasquatch. He
Oh,
travels all over. He goes Texas, New York. He goes all over,
okay. I'll
and
have to look him up.
he basically just camps full time. He's a photographer, and he goes to these racetracks and does photography at racetracks. That's how he makes his living, and he just camps wherever it is he's going. So,
Cool. Yeah.
and
I'll have to look up his YouTube.
the funny thing is, when I talked to him, told him to come down, he was on the north end of the Pinhoti where that said it was the best spot, and he come down there where I was at. But I thought it was kind of funny. But
Cool.
the next picture, we found this tree structure we thought was kind of interesting.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
my dog there. But the tree that's like laying on the very top looked like the oldest of all the trees. Looked like it was, been down the longest, and that was the one on top. It just didn't look natural when we were looking at it. We both agreed on that it just wasn't natural. But and it's hard to tell in this picture, but the one that they're leaning on, it like threaded the needle. It went in between these other trees, barely fit through a whole bunch of trees to be
Mm,
laying where it's laying. It just everything about it just didn't look natural.
yeah.
So, but that's all we found there. And there's this area right there that Mark Green was telling us that a hunter back in I think it was in the 40s. They found him by his tree stand, and his arm was pulled off, and his leg was like bent backward, real weird position. And they
Oh,
said it was a bear attack.
yeah.
Bears pull the arms off people all the time.
Yeah.
So what I'm thinking is maybe he shot at it or drew down on it, and that's what happened. But
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's possible.
Okay, and then this was Cabo Mountain Critter Festival. You can see it's in Massachusetts. Um, my friend Ernie Davio, I'm sure
Yeah.
you've heard of him.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
anybody in the chat that hasn't heard of him, I would recommend you look him up. Let's go to the next one. I think I get where you
Yeah.
can see what his name, how to spell it.
Yeah. He was
Um,
on my show before.
oh, okay. That's me, of course, and then that's Ernie.
Yep.
And then the next two guys, the guy with the red sleeve and the one in between him and Ernie. The guy next to Ernie is called, I don't want to butcher his name. It's an odd name to say. I think it might be Polish, but they just call him the Wojo. So I'll just say that's the Wojo. And then the
Oh,
guy with the red sleeve is Richie,
oh,
and he
okay.
has Richie Banter with Richie B. Oh, wait a minute. They taught me to say it. Banta. Banta. That's how you got to say it. Not banter. They
Yep.
were laughing at me. So I was trying to do their accent, but yeah, it's Banta. And then the
Yeah.
guy with the ball cap on the right, that's Tim Vogel. If you've ever heard of the Vogel brothers,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's uh, the younger brother, I believe. I hope he's the younger one, or I'm going to get in trouble now. But anyway, great guys. We had what was really neat was Ernie. If you've heard his story,
Yeah.
it's quite a story, which is why I
Yeah.
drove all the way to Massachusetts, because this is where it happened, and we actually went back to the actual spot.
Okay.
And
Cool.
Ernie got to retell his story right there at the spot. So the next
Oh,
picture
yeah. There's Tim.
is
He says,
younger brother. There we go. I'm
yeah,
glad I got that right, Tim.
very
I was
cool.
gonna say he's the good looking one, but I didn't want to get in too much trouble, so I didn't. But I don't want to sound gay either. So anyway, next picture is I think it shows how to spell Ernie's name if you want to look him up. But been on multiple shows. Oh, that's one of the pictures didn't come
Yeah.
out. I figured.
Yeah. I was
Okay.
on that bantering with I was on their show, their podcast a couple weeks ago or a couple
Oh,
months
okay.
or something. Cool guys.
Well, you can watch him on Mary's show, or if you want to look him up, it's Ernie Davio,
Yeah.
Davieau,
Yes.
Davieau, Davio. He's been on multiple podcasts telling his story. Okay,
Fascinating story.
I got a hold of Mary again because I went to Massachusetts and I was going to come back through Pennsylvania. So I said, "Hey, where can I go in Pennsylvania?" And she told me, I don't know if you want me to say, but you told me a place to go, and it ended up looking at the weather, it was going to be storming when we got there,
Yeah.
and I didn't want to set up in the rain. It was going to rain all day, so I thought,
Yeah.
forget that. So
Yeah.
we went to Michaud State Forest, Southern, because it was going to rain that night. That's why we got tarps all over, because it did rain later after we got set up. So anyway, we stayed there at Michaud for the rest of that week, and it's beautiful. What I really liked about it is the state forest, but they have dispersed camping, and that's the only state forest I've ever seen that.
Yeah.
And it's really nice, except you had to walk to it. You couldn't drive back and park where your tent was. That's the only thing I didn't like. But
Mm.
we had it all to ourselves. It was non-resident. It's only $15 a night. Really good. And there's no bathroom. There's no nothing there except a picnic table. But it's just really peaceful, really quiet. We were all by ourselves. It was down a forest road, and you just pull off, and there's the site, and then the next one's down, half mile or whatever, and then there
Mhm.
might not be another one for 3 miles or whatever. So they're not like you're right up against anybody. You got it all to yourself. The only thing that happened there was one night. Every night I was listening with the parabolic sitting there. I couldn't go hiking at night because my wife naturally didn't want me leaving her there and tent by herself while I get truck, looking in the woods. So I had to stay at camp. And so I'm just sitting there with the parabolic listening. She's getting ready to go to bed, and she's messing around, going in and out of the tent. She just come out of the tent, and we both heard it, and it sounded really close, but it's totally dark, can't see nothing. We heard it sounded like if you dropped a big rock. It didn't sound like it was thrown. It sounded like if you just dropped it from about chest high and let it hit the ground. That's what it sounded like. We both heard it real clear. It just sounded like a rock, something big with a lot of weight, just hitting the
Mhm.
ground. So
Cool.
other than that, and she goes, "I'm going in the tent," and she went in there and zipped it up so she'd be safe, And I stayed out there, but that was all I heard was that. I never heard any. I heard movement. There's a lot of movement going on back in there, but
Yeah.
I was checking with the thermal and everything. I never saw anything.
Yeah.
So it's beautiful, beautiful area.
Yeah. I held a camp out there. When was it? Last year, I think it was, or was it beginning of this year? Can't remember. That unfortunately I wasn't able to go to, but they were the Shizzle. He attended it, and Jeff also, who's on here, and a few other people, and they said how nice it is there. So yeah, one of these days I'm going to get in the me show.
Well, I'm going to go to the other place you told me about.
Yeah.
Uh, we have to get a vehicle. My van died, so we're
Oh,
having to get another van. What happened was the truck you saw earlier, that white truck.
yeah.
It was a '98, so it lived a good life, but it was time to go. So I was going to haul it to a scrapyard, and we used my van to haul it, and it messed up my van.
Oh
One of
no.
the bearings. So I ended up taking the van to the same scrapyard 2 days later.
Oh
So
no. Oh my. Yeah, I'm
it,
gonna hold another camp out at that spot. I'll try for next year. 'Cause I love it there. It is so active.
let me show.
No, at the other place that I told you about.
Okay, okay. Well, I'm glad I
And
didn't say it. I wasn't sure if you wanted me to or not. So
well, right
yeah,
now,
I'm
no,
gonna
I'll keep it on the
I'm gonna
group.
okay. But as soon as I get a van, that was my plan. I was going to go with Tommy there, and I think Jack Warren wants to come too. He had mentioned it,
Okay.
so he might come too.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's if you do, give me a holler.
I'll let you know. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Let's see.
Oh, let me show you this too, real quick. This was in Alabama. I got a
Oh,
video on my channel just as finding a print in Alabama, I think is what it's called. But there's no detail. This was like along the creek. It was all
oh,
like gravel. Yeah, uh, just where it was at. I did find the next two steps, and they went into the creek, and there was quite a what's the word? The span. What's the word I'm trying to think of it
oh,
between the
stride.
footprint stride. Couldn't think of the word. Yeah, the stride was way more than I could have stepped,
Hmm.
but so I don't know. It didn't have enough detail, and you sure can't tell from the cast. But it was good practice casting anyway.
Yeah.
This is, of course, our good friend Tommy, who was on the show last week, and
Yep.
he mentioned that one of the things I did, I told him I wanted to do this, is I played uh, the Gospel of John in Cherokee. I had it on a speaker in this tent. We set this tent. It was quite a trek to get to where this tent's at, where we set it up. This is area is called Bog Hollow Road. So that name right there, I was like, oh yeah, let's put it there.
Yes.
And it was quite a trek to get back here where this tent's at. We set it up. I had a camping chair, got it set in there, just a little fake campsite, and I put a speaker in there and had it playing. And I wanted to do Iroquois. I know you said Cherokee's more of a southern, which I knew that, but I couldn't find it in Iroquois. I couldn't find anywhere where I could get it.
Yeah.
So that's why I used Cherokee. But I didn't hear anything on the recorder other than something moving around and sniffing on the recorder. That's about all I heard on there. So
Yeah. Sometimes they're just not hanging around the area, and and then 3 days later you go back and
right,
they're there.
right. It's
Never
something I would really rather do like over a week's time or even longer, not just one night. Yeah. So
Yeah,
and
Tommy's
I
a good
just
guy.
thought
I like Tommy. I've known him for years.
I thought this was a cool picture. I mean,
That
but
is.
what happened was I he had come to Salt Fork and we were talking and he's like, man, you need to come up where I'm at. And I said, yeah, definitely. I said, I'm going to do that. And so I got a hold of him. I said, hey, how does it look I think this was in June. I said, how's June look for you? I want to come up there. He goes, well, give me some dates. So I gave him the dates and he sends me back this receipt. He paid for the whole week at a campground for me.
Aw.
And he said, you're all booked. Here's your receipt. He said, you're all good to go. And I said, oh man, you didn't have to do that. And so we got to looking at the campground, and the only thing was your dogs had to be vaccinated, and we haven't had our dogs vaccinated, and so we don't want to have them vaccinated. So my wife was like, "Well, I'm not going because I'm not going to get my dog vaccinated just to go camping." So she stayed home with the dogs, and I went and stayed there by myself. Well, then I'm looking at the campground. The rules, I've never seen this before, but the rules were no generator, couldn't have a generator, and I use a CPAP. I got to have a way to recharge my battery that I run my CPAP on,
Mm-hmm.
which I normally use a generator. So I just would take it over to Tommy's shop and plug it in to charge it. But
Yeah.
um, anyway, the campground, it also had this rule that campers had to be in their campsite by 10:30. You weren't
Okay.
supposed to be out of your campsite after 10:30.
Huh.
Of course, I didn't pay attention to that rule, but that was one of the rules. So every night I would Tommy would come, right before dark and pick me up,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd go out. We'd go out till like 1 or 2 in the morning, all different places, and we did every night. We went out while I was there. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
He probably didn't get no sleep that week, but uh, he would drop me off like at 2 in the morning out at the road, and I'd have to hike half mile uphill in the dark up to where my campsite was. And it was so hot that week. It was like record temperatures that week.
Oh
Sweating like
no.
crazy. But it was a great time though. We really had a good time. We didn't really see any. thing Bigfoot wise, I mean, we were on this one trail at night and we did see these prints, but after we got to looking at them, we figured out they were a bear print. Because after we saw several of them, we finally figured that out that it was from a bear, a pretty good sized bear. But we saw two porcupines crossing the road.
Oh,
And one of the cool things was this great horned owl come out of the woods. We were on this gravel road, and this great horned owl come out right in front of us and was flying down the road right ahead of us. I mean, we're just watching, going like this down the road ahead of us. And then it lands in the road, and he stops, and we're just standing there looking, or he's sitting in the truck looking at it, and he's looking back at us, just sitting there on the road. And I had grabbed my phone out and I was trying to video it, and then it takes off, and I accidentally deleted that video somehow.
oh.
I had a bunch of pictures I took at night that didn't come out, and I thought it was one of those, and I deleted it, and I realized it was that video.
Ah.
But
Yeah,
that
Pyro
was cool.
says Cherokee or Chalagi means the original people. So they probably knew those songs too. Yeah, maybe.
Well, this was not songs; it was the Gospel of John just being narrated in Cherokee. But yeah, it would maybe some music would be good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't see the chat, but so
That's
anybody.
okay. I try to pop them up whenever something comes up. Yeah, Dishisel says he was watching you and reporting on your actions.
Oh, maybe. I think that this picture here was at the Erie Wildlife Refuge.
Okay, I
Yeah,
know that.
I don't know if you know Ted Mackey. He's got a channel. It's called T Mac.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he came and met us there and went with us.
Okay.
So
Yeah. I'm familiar. In fact, there was a report, in fact, the photo of what I'll say, a possible Bigfoot that was taken there by a lady. And so we went in there and did an investigation. And the photo, well, it's on the group, the Bigfoot Project Facebook group. And let's see.
beautiful.
Yeah, it is. It's a fascinating area.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. But one thing that was weird, me and Ted or Tommy, he was like, he's a machine when we're out hiking. He was way ahead of us. And T Mac Ted Mackey, he was doing a video for his channel. So he's talking and narrating, and I'm kind of walking with him, and and Tommy's way ahead of us. Well, when we were coming back, we're coming up the trail, and me and uh, T Mac both at the same time we both smelled it. It smelled like cucumbers. I know that's what they say about copperheads, but we both got a real strong smell of cucumbers while we're walking down the trail. Never saw anything, but we both smelled it really strong. And I don't know if they're out at night or not, but that was the only odd thing, I guess.
Wow.
Oh yeah, this is from Tommy's shop. Yeah, I was gonna say his shop has Bigfoot stuff everywhere in his shop, all over. I mean, he's not hiding it at all. And actually, it's been good for him because he gets people that come in there all the time, and they'll start seeing all that stuff, and they'll say, there was this one time, and they'll start telling him stories. So he gets a
Mm-hmm.
lot of reports that way. But I like the saying, you don't know squatch if you don't get your tires from him.
Yes.
That was funny. Okay, this is over in Indiana. I went over there. Um, I've heard a lot of stuff about Indiana. When I talked to, it's funny that I talked to Martin, the Camping with Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm.
He had posted a video, and I in the comments. This is before I met him and everything. I didn't know him, and I just said, "Is this in Indiana?" and he just said, "I don't like to say where I'm at," which I understand that, but I thought that was pretty vague. Just say in the state of Indiana, but he
Yeah.
didn't want to give me any info at all on that. So I kind of gave him a hard time about it when we were there at the camp together, and he told me, yeah, that was Indiana. But anyway, I've been wanting to get over there, and I go over there, and it was just me and my dog, and we're at a horse camp, and there was a couple people with horses that were in and out, and but mostly I had it all to myself. And then the last day, I think it was the last day that everybody was gone. I had it all to myself. And I'm like, all right, tonight is going to be because what happened was after everybody left, I had it all to myself. It was almost dark, and I made a big loop around the whole camp, checking
Mm.
everybody's fire rings, see if for firewood I was going to scavenge it and take it back for myself.
Yeah.
And I got back in there, and all the way back at the far end, there was a camper close to there, so I never went back there when I first got there, and I've never been there before. So when I'm going around checking firewood, I get all the way back in that far end. There's this one campsite that's way back in the woods, and I was like, "Oh man, I wish I'd have known this was here. I would have camped right here."
Yeah.
So I thought, well, tonight I'm going to come down here and sit and just listen, and maybe take a hike back in there. So I did take several hikes around there, but anyway, that night I was going to go back there. I guess I was there another night besides that. That night I was planning to go back there, and just as it was getting dark, this old beater car comes rolling in, and it's a pretty loud car, and it drives all the way back to that spot. And I'm like, oh, are you
Uh,
kidding me? And I hear them; they're playing music super loud. And I don't want to sound like I'm one of them people because I love music, but I want to hear what's going on in the woods, and it's
yeah.
hard to hear because they're making so much noise. And I have these amplified headphones. I'm sure you're familiar with them.
Yeah.
I have them on, and all I can hear is their music. So I just like, well, I may as well give this up.
Yeah.
So I went on to bed, and I did manage to fall asleep, and it's about 1 o'clock, and they had some song come on really loud. I don't know if they had a Bluetooth speaker or what, but it was really loud, and woke me up. And I'm laying there, so I put my headphones on, and I'm just listening. And all of a sudden, I hear him yelling about something. I can't make out what they're saying, but I can hear him yelling. And all of a sudden, I hear a tree, big, big, big tree, fall. I mean, it's loud, and the music stops. I hear him yelling some more, and then they take off. They're out of there. So this was this was the next night. They left, and I was hoping they weren't going to come back, and they didn't. So the
Good.
next night, I went there to that campsite, and I had a fire going, and you can see my chair, and then next to it is my dog's bed. He's sitting on the bed. I'm sitting in the chair, and I'm just listening, and I hear a wood knock. It's back to my left and behind me a ways. And as soon as that wood knock happened, that my dog was in my lap
Yeah.
instantly.
Yep.
Yeah. So I
That
mean,
that's
that was all
a
I
good
heard.
sign where you know that the Bigfoot are around whenever your dog gets scared.
Yeah.
Yep.
He. So then he sat in my lap, and I just sat and listened for a while. And I heard some movement a little bit here and there, but that could be anything.
Yeah.
So then we took a walk down the trail. I don't know, about maybe a mile, and turned around and come back. And that's about it. We didn't hear nothing else. But
Yeah.
it was pretty
No,
wild that hearing that tree fall. I got it recorded too, that tree fall. That was
do you
that was pretty
really?
cool.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I'll bet you they won't be back. Now, I'm not going to name any parks or anything, but is that in Brown County, Indiana?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, what happened was before I say that, this chisel, where are you out of? What state? I'm just curious. Um, what I had heard, they had dispersed camping sites there. You know, any national forest has dispersed camping, but they have actual sites, kind of like Michaud.
Hmm.
They're off the road and they're just individual sites. And so I was going to go to one of those, and it took me a while to find them. I didn't know where I was going. I'd never been there before, and I drove around and I finally found where they were, and there was somebody staying in them. And all the ones I checked, well, there was one open, but it was right next to somebody else called Pennsylvania. So that's when I went down to this horse camp. I found this horse camp, and that's why I ended up staying there.
You know, there's
But
you know, you keep mentioning these different parks and horse camps, and it always seems to be, you know, from everything that I've heard, and it's not true everywhere, I'm sure, but activity around horse camps in the parks.
yeah,
I don't know if there's a correlation there somewhere, but it or just coincidence.
well, I
But
stayed at another one. It was
mm,
in I actually never heard of this place. It was a guy in Amy's group who mentioned it and said, "Hey, does anybody want to go check out? I found this campground and it's free, and it's at a state forest." It was Harrison County,
yes, yeah,
Ohio.
I was there. I've
Oh,
camped
you
at
were?
that. Yeah,
Okay, yeah, it's really nice. I really enjoyed it. I
yeah,
went and me and him both went there and camped there, and I can't really
it's
say I had any experience, but it was just a beautiful place and free.
it
You can't
was,
beat
yeah,
free.
it was free. Yes, that's what I love about Ohio. You know, their dispersed camping. It's free, and yeah, it's a very nice park, very beautiful. But no, I didn't get any activity. There
Yeah,
was I
same
felt
here.
creepy though, but it was from another camper, some guy who was
Oh.
staring at me and so on. So I just felt creepy, but you
Well, we
know,
went the week of 4th of July, and he's not really into Bigfoot. He's into UFOs.
okay.
But you know, we got along great. We had some great conversations by the fire and everything. And I told him I wanted to do a night hike, and he said, "Well, I'll go with you." And I said, "Okay." So we did a night hike down one of the horse trails way back in there, and we're walking along, and I got those headphones on so I can hear real good. And he's on my right side. We're walking down the trail, and something takes off right next to the trail. There's a tree line right up against the trail, and something takes off, and he jumps and almost knocks me over. He like jumps backward, runs into me, and he the reason he jumped is he couldn't tell if it was going away from him or coming toward him. He just heard something take off, and he wasn't sure if it was coming at him, so that's why he jumped.
Mm,
But we think maybe it was a deer heading down there or something. I don't know. We never
yeah.
did see it, but so we hiked that trail that night, and then I think he ended up leaving. So I was there by myself, and I was going to go hike it again, that same trail. Well, I was going to go actually go farther, make a bigger loop, and the next night, and it was 5th of July, and there was so much fireworks going off. That's all I could hear. I didn't think that they'd be doing it on the 5th, but yeah, that was all I heard was fireworks the whole time. And then the reason I'm telling you this is did that whole big loop. It was like 3 miles or something like that. And I come back out, and where I came out, I was at the road, but I had parked way up the road, so I got to walk up the road to my car. And I'm walking, and that's where I got the creeps. I'm sure you've experienced that. I've had it happen several times where you're just walking along, and just for no reason, all of a sudden the hair on your neck stands up,
Oh yeah,
and you just feel like something's going on. You're just looking around. Never heard nothing. Never
yeah,
saw nothing. I'm on a big wide open road, and all of a sudden I get that feeling.
yep.
Not
Oh, yeah,
not the whole time when I'm back in that narrow trail. I didn't feel it there, but
right. Yeah, you'll hit, just a certain area, and then all of a sudden it's like you're running into a wall. And yeah, no, I know I've experienced that.
well, one thing I just saw somebody made a mention of the other day, and I never really thought about it. We were talking about the horse camps,
Yeah,
is that the horse kind of helps mask the human scent, I think. So
yeah,
they may have something to do with it.
it's possible. Yeah, interesting. Let's see. Oh, that must be the last one. Yeah, that's the last photo.
Yeah. Well, we gone almost 2.5 hours. I get to talking. Sorry.
No problem. I've gone on. If it's a good conversation, no problem. And it is.
Okay, good.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You've traveled quite a bit, and I appreciate that. And you've had a few adventures and gone into some fascinating areas that I want to get into.
Well, I saw you was in Alabama like a couple of weeks ago. I was like, oh man, I wish I'd have known she was going down there. I'll maybe
Yeah.
try to get down there.
Yeah.
I've never
There
met
was.
Coonbo, but
Yeah. Well, yeah, you never know. Next year.
well, when I went out there to Oklahoma, I had planned to stop at LBL on the way back,
Oh,
but I got to looking at it. It's so big. I thought I have no idea where to go.
give me a
So I
call.
thought I probably should go when there's people I know going, and then kind of learn the way around there.
I've camped there alone a few times. But yeah, give me a call and I'll tell you exactly where to go.
Well, I do that. I sent you messages several times. Hey, I'm going there. Where any good spots? Uh,
I'll let you know.
Good to have connections. Oh, I was going to say too about Victoria Jackson.
Yeah,
She had asked me to be on her show a while. That's been over a year ago, I think.
yeah,
And I said, well, I've never had a sighting or anything. And so I was telling her some of the experiences I've had. She's like, well, you act like you never had any experience. I said, so, well, I've had, some strange stuff. I've just never had a visual sighting. But so anyway, she had messaged me about somebody was going to be on her show and they canceled. And she asked if I could fill in. Well, that was when I had gone back to work. And where I was working, it was 2 hour drive. And I had to be there at 6.
hmm.
So I was going to bed early because I was getting up at 3.
Oh,
And she's like, hey, so and so just canceled on me. Would you like to fill in on my show? And I was like, well, actually, I'm getting ready to go to bed. And I don't know if she believed me or not because it was pretty early, but that's why I was going to bed early because I was driving so far. But so I just want to say, Miss V, if you still are going to do any shows and you ever want me to come back, I'd be happy to sit down and talk with you. So
yeah.
if she's
I,
watching.
yeah, I think she has her show on a hiatus right now.
Yeah,
She's busy doing some other things,
right.
but she did mention that she'll be back. So, yeah, we all miss Victoria. She's a great lady. Love her.
Yes, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I'd just like to sit and give me an excuse to sit and have a conversation with her.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. She's let's see. Yeah, I know she was in North Carolina. I don't know where she's at now, but no,
I
or
think
at
she
least
still
she's,
is.
yeah, she's been in some fascinating areas. A couple areas that yeah, I've got so many places on my bucket list. No
Yeah, me
time
too.
and no money to go to them. But now you said that you worked construction. Was that road construction or what type of construction?
No, no, I was an insulator. I did
Insulate.
insulation work.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I worked at like 7 nuclear power plants. And
Yeah,
like I said, I wish I would have been more into this back then because I worked in Tennessee for 10 months. I was
yeah,
out in Minnesota for 10 months. I worked all over and because you got to go where the work is in construction. But
Yep.
I've worked in places where that were probably pretty squatchy, and I just wasn't into it then.
Probably, yep. Yeah, my husband, well, he's retired now also, but he worked in road construction, and they would send him into some areas that were um, very remote, and he would, like you, have to go to bed early and get up early and at 3 a.m. or be there at 3 a.m. and um, and I would tell him, make sure you look around and keep your ears open whenever you get there. Look for different
Mhm.
signs. And he said, I wouldn't know what to look for. I said, well,
Yeah, I'm
just keep an eye out.
from 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. That's prime time to me.
Yeah.
That's when I want to be out listening, looking, and
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I love my husband very, very much, but he's not into Bigfooting.
yeah.
He
Same with
believes
my
me,
wife. Yeah,
but
same
that's about it.
same with my wife. She believes they're real, but she has no interest in seeing one. And I've
Yep.
always told people she's going to be the one that ends up seeing one before I do. She'll see one crossing the road or something, and that's probably what's going to happen.
You never know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, what's your next adventure? Do you have anything planned?
Well, I had planned. I was supposed to go to Kentucky. That I had that all planned out the end of October, and like I said, my van died on me.
Yeah,
And there's a friend of mine. I don't know if you know Judy Whitaker
I've heard
and
the
her
name.
husband Jamie. They call him Bobo because he does kind of look like Bobo, but he's the same way. He's not really into Bigfoot, but he likes to camp. So he goes around. She's into it, and he just goes around with her. And she told me about this place in Kentucky. It was down in the Daniel Boone. It's
Oh,
actually right along the Tennessee line, pretty close.
yeah.
And it's free. It is a forest camp, national forest, Daniel Boone National Forest. But I
Mhm.
guess because of the government shutdown, the camp was closed.
Oh,
So we ended up not going. And then, like I said, my van died. So and then I planned to go with Tommy. He was going to go to that place you mentioned in Pennsylvania,
yeah.
and hopefully we get another vehicle here in another week or so. I'm going to still try to get out there.
Yeah, I don't know how long they keep that specific area open. Um, plus winter's coming, and that area gets
Yeah,
snowed in pretty bad. Um,
yeah,
Yeah, it's you have to go down deep into a hollow, and the road's pretty nasty. So I don't know if I would recommend. But hey, if Tommy lives around the area, he can probably scout it out.
I think he said it's like a little over an hour or so from
Yeah,
where he lives, so that's
yeah,
not too bad for him. He,
no,
like you said, don't he'll know the weather up there anyway,
yeah,
so
oh yeah,
we'll see.
yeah.
Go
But
in spring.
yeah,
We
I
have to.
think the I think before I was holding the campouts there in the fall, like in September, October, and maybe next year I may set one up for April, like end of April or something, beginning of May. Try to get in there.
That's a good time.
Yeah, I hate camping in hot weather. I
Yeah,
avoid camping July and August and
yeah.
early September. It's just too hot, too muggy.
I loved summer when I was a kid, but as I gotten older, it's my least favorite time of year.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, Alabama, the weather was perfect. I was afraid it was going to be hot and muggy, but it was 70s during the day, down in the 40s at night. It was just perfect.
Yeah, we were there in March, and it was really nice. The
Yeah,
only thing was the pine trees there. They got them real long pine needles,
yeah,
and Man, they were putting out tons of pollen. It was everywhere. Everything was turning yellow.
Oh,
But
oh my. Yeah, one of these days we'll have to plan a camp out together, but
I
we'll
would love to.
get out there somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
So yeah, just your next adventure, whenever you come back, you give me a holler and we'll get you back on the show and you
Okay.
talk about
I do. I do want to hit the Mark Twain at some point. That's another area I want to go to.
yes, yes, yep. Yeah, I've been into Texas, but not well, Bigfooting not too far from the Oklahoma side. Crossing over the Red River, and yeah, I've been in Texas, down below, down all the way to Houston and San Antonio, but that was whenever I
Oh,
was a kid.
oh, okay. What about the Big Thicket? Have you ever been there?
Not yet. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah, same
It's
here.
on my bucket list.
I'd like
And
to go to Arkansas and explore Arkansas more too.
yeah, yeah, I hear quite a bit. And Boykin Springs also in Texas. That's another area that I
I
hear.
forgot to mention that, and if anybody's wondering, we were at the Bigfoot Museum and I mentioned the guy in the back that had the ball cap and the glasses.
Yeah,
The reason I mentioned him, that picture never showed up, but uh, when we went on the K Trail and we went to that Area X and we just drove down the K Trail, the guy Steve Jones. This is all the same night of that party at the museum. We went that night after the party, and Steve Jones said, "Well, a bunch of the researchers were going to go out here to this park. We should go out there and see if anybody's still there." So we took the 4x4s or side by sides. They're road legal, so we went on the road down to where they to the park. It's not really a park. It was a little camping area, and it was part of the Ouachita National Forest.
yeah,
That's how they pronounce it. It's Ouchita, I think,
yeah.
but they pronounce it Ouachita. Anyway, so we go out there, and it was just that guy. He was the only one there by himself. They had all left, and he was sitting there by a campfire, and we sat talked to him for a while, and then we went back. Well, then when we went to Arkansas, I was thinking, if all those researchers went there, that must be a good hot spot. So I thought I'm going to go back there and do some night hikes. So I drove from my wife was okay with it there because we were at a campground. There was other people camping, so
Mhm.
she was okay with me leaving. So I drove back into Oklahoma. It was about 30 minutes or maybe 45 minutes drive
Yeah.
back to there, and did like 3 night hikes there. About 1 in the morning, and I never saw nothing or heard anything.
No. Oh, wow. That would have been epic. Wow.
But I
Yeah.
did get that creeped out feeling a couple times for no
Okay.
reason, just out of the blue.
Yeah. Yeah. Every area that I've been in Oklahoma, it's we've had activity of some sort, and I just love Oklahoma. It is so underrated. Hey, River, cooey.
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing? A guy from from Australia just popped in.
Oh,
Yep,
oh.
there's
Hey, mate.
he says, Paul, good day, mate.
good, good day, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit
Yeah,
of
he
Yowie
says,
stuff going on, huh?
yep, a bit of Yahweh stuff going on down under. Hey, thanks, River. Yeah, love to hear
Huh,
about it.
that's cool.
Yeah, love to hear about it. I've got so many friends in Australia that it's on my bucket list. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was supposed to go there back in 2000, but unfortunately, a worldwide event happened, and my
Yeah.
travel there was a little. Oh well.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd be doing any solo night hikes in Australia. I'd have to have a guide.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, okay. Thank you, Catherine. I appreciate you coming on and joining us. Uh,
Thanks for being here.
my, yeah, so many good friends in here. Great people, and I see a few friends of yours also. Too bad
Oh, good.
Tommy couldn't make it, but maybe he's. That's right. I think he and Jason have or else it's just Jason that has another podcast that he's involved with. But
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
well, I can't see the chat, but hello to everybody.
yeah, a lot of good people. There's a few people from Oklahoma that were commenting on here.
Yeah, I liked it out there. I want to go back.
Well, next time I get an invite, I'll give you a call also, see if you're available.
Have you ever read the story of LaFleur? You know, it's LaFleur County there, of who the county's named after. Have you ever heard the story of that?
No.
I don't want to try to tell it off the top of my head because I probably would get it wrong, but you should definitely look into it. It's very interesting, the story of him.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Yeah, I've got family out in Indiana. They migrated there back in the 1800s, and I corresponded. I never met them. Corresponded with them for a little bit, but that's about it. Whoop,
Well, you
there's
know,
my
what's
dog.
funny, what's, I should say, not funny, but ironic. I was doing some genealogy research, and it's like I think it's four great. I think it's four of them. Grandmother on my mom's side was full-blooded Cherokee. Her name was Frances Hammock, like a hammock. That
Oh,
was her last name. And I guess she was supposed to be on the Trail of Tears. Well,
oh,
she was. She was on the Trail of Tears. And the wagon, the wheel came off. And while they were fixing it, she ran and hid in a cave.
wow.
And so she got left behind. And I've always, I've thought about that she was brave enough to do that. But if she hadn't done that, I could have been born out in Oklahoma, or she may not even made the trip, I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
Wow. Wow. Yeah. In fact, yeah, my family out there, they are in Brown County from a little area called Bear Wallow Hill.
in Indiana?
Yep,
Or,
Brown
oh, okay.
County. Yep.
They say that's a hot area.
Yeah. Okay, River says, I got a phone call from a lady who has a family of Yowies plus a portal on her property. Cool.
Oh, definitely
Very
something to
cool.
check out. Yeah. Hmm.
Nice. Nice. Fascinating. Well, good. Yeah, keep us updated on what you find out, River.
See, that's my problem is where I go, it's public, it's a park. So it would be so nice to have private property where you don't have to worry about wondering if it's a person messing with you or whatever. So,
Yeah. Yeah, we've investigated quite a few private properties through the years, and it is nice, that you get to, you can interview the family or whoever it was that had the sighting, and get a little bit of history about the area also. And
Yeah.
that helps so much.
Hmm.
Okay, here we go. Here's Johnny Meadock
Oh,
Foot. Good
yeah.
evening from
I
North Carolina. Welcome,
I
Johnny.
know that name quite well.
Oh, okay.
I've never met him, but I know the name from Miss V, and also I think he's in my group too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to the show.
That's another area I'd like to go to North Carolina
Yeah.
at some point. I was
Yeah.
looking at a map. There's actually I think it's Boogertown is actually the name, Boogertown.
Yeah.
So
That's a place to check out.
yeah, for sure. Mhm.
Yeah, that and there's another area. It's supposed to be very active, but I don't know. I hear from different people that it is active, and then somebody else says no, they hike all over the place and they don't see or hear anything. So and I can't remember the name of that area. Can never remember it.
Hmm.
Uh,
Well, I forgot to mention when we went to that Hollins Hunters camp in Alabama, the first night we were there, like I said, we were the only ones there, and it was going to rain that night. So I put my recorder, I had one of the big, long, folded in half plastic tables, I had it set up, and I put my recorder up underneath it. And so we went to bed, and it did rain pretty good, and just for a couple hours, and it quit. But anyway, it wasn't raining when this happened, but I guess the next morning, I asked my wife, I said, "Well, I didn't hear anything, did you?" And she goes, "Yeah." She says, "I think I heard a wood knock." And I said, "Really?" I said, "Why didn't you say something?" She goes, "Because I was afraid you'd want to go out and look around." So she didn't wake me up or tell me. So I knew I had the recorder out. So I got my recorder. I started listening, and I heard what she's talking about. And I'm listening. When I heard it, it didn't really sound like a wood knock to me. It sounded like it was on plastic or something. And it sounded like it was right at the recorder. And I'm thinking, I wonder if something got thrown. So she was in the tent. I said, "Hey, that noise you heard last night, did it sound like this? I found this rock laying there by the table." So I picked it up and I got back a ways and I tossed it and let it hit the table. She goes, "Yeah, that's exactly what it sounded like." So I don't know that, there was a rock there, but that doesn't really mean anything. But that's
yeah.
what this noise sounded like that I got recorded. So that was
Yeah.
interesting.
Very
That was the
cool.
first night, and then nothing the whole time we were there.
Oh.
And then the very last night, I have it on my channel. That's the name of the video. Last night at Hollins, I had my recorder going, and it was at where the Pinhoti Trail starts. They have a gate there, so you can't drive back, but they have a gate. That's where I had my recorder, and so it wasn't way back in the woods, but it was right where the wood line starts. It was about 3 in the morning, and it sounds like a woman crying.
Hmm.
That's what the only thing I could think it would be. It sounds like a woman crying. You hear, you'd have to hear the recording. It's toward the end. I think it's like 20 seconds long, and it's toward the end of it. But you
Okay.
hear this like that. That's what it sounds like.
Oh. Huh. Well,
Eh,
maybe someone on here will recognize or know, what that is. Okay. River asks, have you ever heard your name whispered in the bush?
No, I
Me.
haven't.
Yeah, me neither. It's although I have heard it.
Now, when I was in Oklahoma, um, I had intended to go on this trail. I was in the Washita. I think it's Kiamichi River.
Yeah.
This trail comes out of the Kiamichi River. So I was going to take that trail and go down to the river and look for prints. And it was what went along this ridge line, and it was real rocky. and I was afraid I was going to twist my ankle or something. So I aborted on that because I just didn't want to be out there 2 in the morning and break my ankle or something, and camp. My wife's 30 miles away, and it's just not a good idea. So I decided not to do that. So I went on this other trail that just went back through the woods. And when I was coming back out, I was almost back to my car, and it sounded like a dog. That the immediate thought to my head was a dog breathing. I heard some noise, and it sounded like a dog breathing, and it was like right next to me. It freaked me out. I stopped and I grabbed my thermal out, and I'm looking all around, and I'm checking with the thermal. I never saw nothing. I don't know. It was just really weird.
Wow. Interesting. All the weird things that you hear and experience out there, and that you can't identify. And sometimes, you don't know, okay, is it natural or is it
Yeah.
something else?
Well, you know how it is when you're in the woods. A little mouse crawling on a dead leaf sounds like a bear. It
Yes.
just kind of startles you.
Yep. Yep. A raccoon sounds like a something gigantic.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Well,
what's nice about having that thermal, because it gives me a little comfort when I can do a quick scan and make sure there's nothing there, no mountain lion or anything.
yep. That's what they're good for.
Yeah.
Well, tell you what, it's almost 10:15, and
Yeah.
I know I'm winding down.
Sorry to ramble so much, but
Oh, no,
uh,
no problem.
I enjoyed it though. I really did.
Oh, yeah, I know I have, and I think the audience has also. Oh, Patty says she's reminding everyone.
Patty Frey. Yeah.
Yeah, she says try and check out the northern lights if it's not overcast. Yeah, the
Yeah. It was
skies
last night.
here. Yeah.
I'll
Yeah,
have to check.
we're all overcast here, so unfortunately I won't be able to see them.
There's been some great pictures I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah, Kumbo posted some earlier, from down there in Alabama. It's,
Hmm.
I've never heard of them being, down that far. It's just amazing.
Hmm. Yeah. The Southern Lights.
Yes. And here it is overcast here, so I can't see them. Well, okay, I'll let you go for the evening and make sure you check back in.
Okay. Yeah.
And I want to thank you so much for coming on. Thank
Well,
you.
thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm honored that you agreed to come on.
Yeah. My pleasure. That wasn't why I got on there last week with Tommy. I just wanted to give him a rough time and remind him to tell you about that Amish guy, but I guess he didn't want to tell you that story. But anyway, I'm glad to come out and be on here with you. Enjoyed
Yeah,
it.
yeah. I'm glad that
Okay.
you popped on last week because, it reminded me, hey, wait a minute. Let's get you on. All right. So you have a great evening and
You
thank you
too.
so much.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Good
All right.
night.
Good night.
All right, guys. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming on and joining us. We'll end it here. It's pretty late and I'm tired. Thanks, guys. Oh, River, let me see. Let me see if I can pronounce this. And I'm probably going to mangle it. Yara Ururung. Oh, yeah, I know that I mangled that. But goodbye, good night. I'm not going to say goodbye. I'll just say good night to everyone. And River, probably for you, good day. Good day, mate. And yeah, thanks again, everyone. But remember, next week, it's just going to be open mic, Q&A, just general conversation, whatever you guys want to talk about. It'll go wherever you want it to go, as long as it's PG and clean and everything else, then we're good. But so we'll see you next week. Don't forget, please, keep Fred Saluga in your prayers. Okay. All right, River. Okay, River, let's see. I don't know. You're on Facebook? Can't remember. But yeah, I want to chat with you also. Okay. All right, guys. Yes, please keep Fred Saluga in your prayers. And honestly, he is in dire need of prayers for healing. So y'all have a great evening and a good day. And God bless. And Monkey Wench out.